Chapter 503. The miser was also panting from exhaustion. This killing array was very difficult to break. If not for Su Yin delaying and deciphering the array runes, he wouldn't have been able to open up a crack in the killing array without anyone noticing. Now, the miser's aura was a bit stronger. His entire body was suffused with silver divine light. He was like an ancient life form floating in the void, spewing out a powerful aura. The demon soldiers controlling the killing array were all sent flying. Hurry and rush over. Shen Hongyan had just given the order when many demon soldiers rushed over. There were also demon realm powerhouses that crossed over. They had just managed to surround Su Yin with great difficulty. If they allowed him to escape, then it would take a great deal of time and effort to capture Su Yin. But unfortunately, Shen Hongyan's order was too late. Just as the miser was about to tear open the killing array, he had already secretly notified Su Yin. Before leaving, he and the Baokai had joined forces to heavily wound the dragon sparrow. Su Yin's Baokai had reached out with a claw that was like a true dragon's claw, grabbing the dragon sparrow in its claws. "No, don't do this." The dragon sparrow let out a cry of despair. It had actually been captured alive. The peacock was about to explode with anger. Its eyes were red. It had made such a great sacrifice in order to obtain glory and wealth. Now that it had been captured alive, what glory and wealth was there left for it? It had to be said that the forbidden array was very powerful. If it was targeted at a single person, then the sealing strength was especially astonishing. Even a human lord that had comprehended the great Dao domain would find it difficult to break through in a short period of time. Go! Su Yan's feet shone as he activated shrinking earth into an inch and rushed towards the killing array's crack. You can't escape. The demon realm powerhouses that were rushing towards the killing array's crack all roared out. Monstrous demonic aura surged out and shattered the space around them. There are also demon realm powerhouses that took out their killing weapons and stood guard here, cutting off Su Yan's path of retreat. All of you, get out of my way. This was an ending that would cause even a mighty lord to curse. Su Yin tossed out another forbidden array. When this array was activated, the shattered space fell into a state of stillness. A large number of Fey realm beings froze in space for a short period of time. In the next moment, they were terrified. Su Yin rushed over madly, as if he was bathed in the flames of the great Tao. Behind him, a giant pair of wings spread out, dazzling the heavens. Dong dong dong. The ancestral phoenix wings erupted, shattering the heaven and earth, riddling the space sealed by the forbidden domain formation with thousands of holes. A large number of demon soldiers were disintegrated in the air. When the immortal iron staff smashed down, this place completely exploded. The immortal iron staff sank everything, causing the heroes of the demon region to all fly backwards. Pooh! These powerful creatures coughed out blood, cursing inwardly. How could he have so many forbidden formations? Roar! The Baokai roared as it raised its blood-stained round head and charged over. Carrying Su Yin, who was descending from the sky, it rushed out like a swarm of bees. Its forehooves kicked the void as it charged into the big crack. Bastard, chase after him. Shen Hongyan was so angry that his face was ashen. They had dispatched so many troops, yet Su Yin had actually escaped. If news of this spread out, wouldn't it boost Su Yan's prestige? If Su Yin could still escape in this situation, Shen Hongyan would want nothing more than to find a piece of tofu to kill himself. F***CK. Madman Su actually ran away? What the hell was that chicken just now? How could Madman Su escape like this? Isn't this a bit too unreasonable? It really is a miracle. However, Su Yin has grasped too many great killing arrays. If they didn't have these killing arrays protecting them, it would be very difficult for them to escape. In this sealed area, all the spectators were tongue-tied. They originally thought that Madman Su was completely finished, but they definitely didn't expect that Su Yin could actually carve out a bloody path from this killing array. Let's go. Miser Rooster flew into the air like an overlord of the sky, scouting the path for them. The Baokai carried Su Yin and ran wildly. Having just killed his way out of the battlefield, Su Yin was like a deflated balloon. He had expended too much energy, and his force armor was completely depleted. There were wounds all over his body. In short, he was in a very tragic state. If I, Su Yin, become a great Dao realm expert, who would dare to humiliate me? Su Yin's cold eyes looked behind him. There was a group of demons coming out of the seal. Demonic auras surged and covered the mountains and rivers. They were currently chasing after Su Yin and the others. Cough! Su Yin was coughing up blood. His injuries were very serious, and he didn't dare to waste any time. He quickly took out the fruits he had obtained from the treasure trove and stuffed them into his mouth. The life force contained in these fruits was very strong. After swallowing one, his body felt refreshed. Su Yin was astonished. These fruits were somewhat miraculous and were very suitable for healing injuries. Give me one jade cloud fruit. Bloody foam was flowing out of the Bao-Cai's mouth. Even with the protection of the divine spirit armor, the Bao-Cai still suffered severe internal injuries. It was running wildly with its ears perked up, trying its best to shake off its pursuers. Su Yin took out a few fruits and stuffed them into the Bao-Cai's mouth. At the same time, he circulated the Heaven Patching Art to heal his injuries. He also used the Heaven Patching Art's special divine ability to nourish the Bao-Cai's injured body. He quickly took off his force armor and tossed it into his space treasure. He used the damaged cauldron to extract the essence of the divine materials and started to nourish the force armor. After doing all this, Su Yin felt drowsy. He was very tired. He had fought battles that were above his level. In addition, he was constantly suppressed by the great Dao domain. This caused Su Yin to feel dispirited. He was just about asleep when Su Yin suddenly shivered. He shook his head and tried his best to wake himself up. This wasn't the time to rest. He felt that this battle wouldn't end so easily. Brother, let's talk. Bao-Cai dragged the dragon sparrow out on its way to escape. The dragon sparrow had completely lost its temper. It had been captured alive and became a prisoner. Its heart was filled with fear. If it hadn't been for it, they wouldn't have been in danger. It would be strange if they would have let it go. Ah! The dragon sparrow screamed. Bao-Cai exerted force with its claws, crushing the dragon sparrow's skin and flesh. Its entire body was about to explode. Don't kill me. Don't! The dragon sparrow cried out in despair. Its heart was filled with endless regret. It had chosen this path, but had failed miserably. It was even captured alive by Su Yin. Its fate was obvious. Even if the demon realm caught up, the dragon sparrow didn't think it could survive. Don't kill it yet, Su Yin suddenly said. His voice contained magic, making the dragon sparrow see the light in the darkness. It was as if it had grabbed onto a life-saving straw. It was so excited that its whole body trembled. It probably knows a lot about the northern demon realm. I think we should directly search its soul later and decipher all its memories. We also need to understand the current situation of the demon realm. Su Yin's words made the dragon sparrow tremble in fear again. This was worse than death, waiting for it to lose its value and then killing it. Su Yin, the dragon sparrow cried out in despair. You won't have a good ending. You provoked the northern demon realm. No matter how strong you are, you won't be able to escape from the peerless killing of a supreme being. Bang! Bao-Cai's big claws grabbed the dragon sparrow and exerted force. The dragon sparrow's body began to crack. The suffocating feeling made the dragon sparrow want to die immediately. Although it was early to kill the dragon sparrow, the Bao-Cai wouldn't let it go so easily. After a series of beatings, the dragon sparrow was left with half its life. Its cultivation was almost crippled. Little sparrow, I'll deal with you later. Tai Bao-Cai put the dragon sparrow into a jar. Then it said to Su Yin, give me a few dozen sets of that killing array. Hearing this, Su Yin wanted to vomit blood. There was only one set of forbidden array left. Just thinking about it made Su Yin's heart ache. He had paid a huge price, which was equivalent to giving up a divine artifact. Even the divine armor worn by Bao-Cai was a little damaged. Su Yin felt a sense of urgency. He had to earn money to buy more protective treasures. The mountains and rivers were in chaos. Bao-Cai leaped towards a large mountain and turned his head to look at the pursuers behind him. Bao-Cai grinned and hurriedly disappeared into the horizon. B** starred. Shen Hongyun's face was gloomy. More than half of the troops had mistakenly entered a dangerous area. This was a forbidden area. The mountain range's terrain was complicated, and they could easily encounter death. Like this, they madly rushed forward. Without a powerful array master guiding them, it was impossible for them to chase in a straight line. The spectators were all dumbfounded. Su Yin had escaped just like that? This news had already spread out. After all, the monster region's movements were too great. Everyone knew about it, so they didn't think there would be any accidents. These trash from the monster region. They sent out so many powerhouses, but Su Yin still managed to escape. They are truly useless. When the various peak influences of the Ancestral Hall received this news, their complexions turned ugly. Su Yin's tracks had been revealed. Although the monster region had trapped Su Yin for a period of time, he had still managed to escape. This caused them to be enraged. At the same time, they also learned that Su Yin had been severely wounded. This caused even more powerhouses to rush into the forbidden area. But the forbidden area was so vast, so where could they find Su Yin? I should be safe now, right? Su Yin hid in an ancient mine to recuperate. He took out several types of precious medicines and swallowed them. There were many wounds on his body, and many of his bones were broken. His injuries were truly miserable. Bao Kai didn't have many external wounds, but his internal injuries were also severe. They absorbed the essence of precious medicines and turned them into body tonics. They began to nourish their injured bodies layer by layer. The process was relatively fast because of the heaven mending technique's power. Even though Su Yin had fatal wounds, he was still able to crawl back up in a short period of time. Of course, this short period of time wasn't just a single day. If it were anyone else that had suffered such serious injuries, they wouldn't be able to leave seclusion without several months of time. Their vitality was greatly damaged, so they silently hid in the ancient mine to recuperate. When night approached, Su Yan's bones were reconnected, and a portion of his severe wounds were also mended. His body still emitted a vigorous amount of blood essence that flowed through his limbs and bones. When night fell, the world seemed to have calmed down. Su Yin, who was sitting cross-legged in the ancient mine to recuperate, suddenly felt his mind tense. All the hairs on his body stood on end as he sensed a fatal danger approaching. The immortal iron rod that was resting on Su Yan's legs fell into Su Yan's hands. However, the ancient mine they were sitting in exploded. A divine weapon temporarily awakened in this world. This was a blood-colored war spear that was hazy with primal chaos radiance. It was as if a primal chaos war spear was erupting. Everything happened too quickly. An expert holding a primal chaos war spear slaughtered his way over. Chapter 504. The primal chaos spear arrived too quickly. Su Yin and the other two had no time to react. The main reason was that this spear was terrifying. The spear was peerless, emitting a primal chaos light beam that contained a primal chaos killing intent. Facing such a peerless spear, Su Yin felt as if his body was being penetrated and his body and soul were about to be destroyed. Die. Seeing the miserable state of the three, Shen Hongyun laughed loudly. He pressed forward. The primal chaos spear emitted boundless killing intent that densely covered the heaven and earth, suppressing this world. It was enough to display an extremely powerful killing force that could pierce through the young overlords. Primal chaos divine tool. Miser screamed. Only a divine tool could be refined by a deity. This point was without a doubt. The power of a divine tool was known to the world, and its value was also incomparably precious. Just the silver, godly spirit battle armor Su Yin obtained from Zhu Yang's body had already helped him a lot, blocking many life and death crises. As for the value of a primal chaos divine tool, it was even higher. In other words, this kind of divine tool was refined by a deity with their blood, sweat, and tears. It also contained the power of the great Tao of primal chaos. That was why primal chaos divine tools were rarely seen even in peak powers. Shen Hongyun's primal chaos divine tool was borrowed from Dragonsnake to deal with Su Yan's immortal Iron Staff. This was not the first time Su Yan encountered a primal chaos divine tool. Shuiguan's ride was actually a primal chaos divine tool. This kind of treasure was truly rare. Even among the young overlords, there were very few who possessed this kind of treasure. But they didn't expect Shen Hongyun to be able to borrow a primal chaos divine tool. How do you even find this place? Boom! The chaotic storm arrived in an instant. The entire area was crushed by the chaotic aura until it exploded. The chaotic spear, which possessed destructive power, blasted forward. It carried the power to destroy all life forms and was about to swallow Su Yin and the other two. Facing such a destructive attack, Su Yin and the other two roared in unison. There was no way out. They could only kill. Kill! The three of them roared. Bao Kai was the first to rush up like a silver giant panda. Its body enlarged rapidly like a giant mountain. This was a super fat giant panda, and it had activated the divine spirit battle suit to the extreme. Bao Kai's body blocked all the chaos-killing spears that filled the sky. When the chaos-killing spears hit Bao Kai, his silver armor shone, and his divine Dao aura filled the air. Although it was difficult to resist the power of the chaos spears, Bao Kai still managed to block them. However, Bao Cai's actions had also blocked a great deal of the chaos spear's power. As a price, Bao Kai trembled all over. Blood spurted out of its pores, and many of its bones were shattered by the energy waves. It looked extremely miserable. At this moment, a shadow appeared behind the super fat giant panda. He leaped up, stepped on its shoulder, and dove down. Boom! Su Yan's hair fluttered in the wind. His eyes shone with a divine light as he released his iron-blooded fighting spirit. His arms held the immortal iron staff, erupting with the most powerful source of power, completely reviving this treasure, hacking towards the primal chaos war spear that pierced through this place. Han Long Long. The two supreme treasures collided with each other, just like that, causing the heavens and the earth to explode and collapse. Everything in an area of 500 kilometers was trembling while the mountains and valleys resounded with deafening rumbling, causing some living beings that passed by to be blasted flying and coughing up blood. What is that? The nearby creatures trembled. They saw the two peerless heavenly weapons collide, shaking the heavens. Even the stars in the cosmos were shaking. What kind of power was this? Regardless of whether it was the primal chaos war spear or the immortal iron staff, they were both terrifyingly powerful. Once they collided, the heavens would collapse and the earth would split apart. Gods would weep and ghosts would weep. Pooh! Su Yan coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. He flew out in reverse. The primal chaos war spear's power was too abnormal. It wasn't that the immortal iron staff wasn't strong enough, but rather that Su Yan's fighting strength was a bit weak. The force armor's power hadn't been fully restored, and he didn't have the divine spirit battle suit to protect his body. When he came into close contact with this supreme treasure, his soul would be pierced through. Let's go! Another loud explosion sounded. A pair of enormous blazing wings revived. The miser spread his wings and soared into the sky. The moment he activated the ancestral phoenix wings, he carried Su Yan and Tai Bao Kai with his large claws, crazily flying through the air. The surrounding people were shocked. They still didn't know what was going on. However, they saw Shen Hongyun's arms trembling, the web between his thumb and forefinger cracked. In the end, he also spat out a mouthful of blood. The shockwaves from the collision of the two great treasures left his body a bit unable to endure. Jie, within 3 days, I'll capture you two alive. However, Shen Hongyun wiped the blood from the corners of his lips. He laughed sinisterly, as if he was a demon that crawled out from hell. He was laughing, his laughter extremely cruel and cold. Why didn't you kill him? Kill this old thing and seize the primal chaos divine artifact. Tai Baocai's injuries were severe. Even the god spirit battle armor he was wearing was charred black. More and more cracks had appeared on it. The battle armor was on the verge of shattering. The price to pay is too high. If we fight with him, we'll definitely alert the other elites. The miser roared angrily. Did this kid eat dog sh*t? How'd he find us? The dragon sparrow has been sealed. It can't be him. Suyin didn't understand. He was breathing heavily. His injuries hadn't healed yet, and now they were even worse. Suyin gritted his teeth and took out the quasi-holy medicine. He split it in half and swallowed it with Baokai. Quasi-holy medicine to heal. The miser was speechless. This was too extravagant. If word got out, he might be scolded to death. Quasi-holy medicine was too precious. There were many quasi-holy medicines in the God Spirit Mountain range, but in the vast universe, how many secret realms could nurture as many natural treasures as the God Spirit Mountain range? Suyin didn't care so much. After the quasi-holy medicine's medicinal power entered his stomach, Suyin's injured body felt like it was on fire. This medicinal power was too fierce. After all, the medicinal power wasn't mild at all. Refined. He gritted his teeth and roared. He had suffered too much from one good fortune after another. From the treasure trove until now, he had been walking on a path of bad luck. Using the initial sutra, Suyin's body was like an oven. He sat cross-legged on the miser's wing, while Baokai sat cross-legged on the other wing. The essence blood in their bodies surged in all directions. There was no need to say more about the medicinal power of the quasi-holy medicine. It was shockingly powerful and filled with great nourishment for the human body. Under the cleansing of layers of divine power essence blood, Suyin's injured body began to heal rapidly. Suyin's aura gradually stabilized as he suppressed his worsening injuries. He continuously extracted the quasi-holy medicine's essence to heal his injuries. It could be said that his recovery speed was very fast. After all, the price he had paid was this. Half a quasi-holy medicine was enough for Suyin to stand at the peak within a day. Just as the miser was flying through the air, his pupils suddenly shrank as he surveyed the forest below. Not good. Miserly Rooster was shocked. From within the forest, terrifying rays of light rushed out. They were like giant beasts that were hibernating. They leaped up and emitted the power of the great Tao domain that was as vast as the sea. They transformed into terrifying giant hands one after another. 3 giant hands, their palms as deep as the abyss, manifested the great Tao domain. The 3 demon race lords attacked. At the critical moment, they erupted with palm force and attacked the miser. I'm so angry. Mother of Asterisk-Cur, I've become a living target. The miser cursed. The space they were hiding in had been destroyed. He hurriedly dodged, but the people who attacked had accurately locked onto them. The 5 palms were like 5 layers of small worlds. They pressed down from all directions and sealed the sky and the earth. The miser spat out a mouthful of old blood. The situation was too dangerous. The 5 great demon experts attacked without a second word, as if they were going to crush them to death. Charge out. Suyin suddenly stood up. He was draped in the force armor that had recovered a lot of its power. He was like a battle spear. The immortal iron staff erupted again, shaking heaven and earth. The 5 layers of small worlds were also distorted. The immortal iron staff was worthy of being called a great killing weapon. Its offensive power was unparalleled. If he didn't have it in hand, Suyin wouldn't have been able to charge out of this situation. He was risking his life. If he didn't kill his way out, only death would await him. Break for me. Suyin's eyes were spewing flames. He smashed the immortal iron staff in all directions, destroying layer after layer of great Tao sealing power. This was a bloody battle. Their losses were extremely shocking. They paid a disastrous price to open up a gap and escape with the help of the ancestral phoenix wings. The 5 great demon experts' expressions were ice cold. The ancestral phoenix wings' speed was too fast. It was difficult for them to catch up. They didn't expect Suyin's recovery speed to be so fast. The miser didn't dare to stop for even a moment. He madly charged out with all his strength. The 3 of them felt great pressure. They had been dug out twice in succession. This was just too strange. This doesn't make sense. I have a damage cauldron on me. In the past, even the Divine King couldn't detect my aura. Could it be that it was the work of the mysterious expert from the past? But the demon realm's casualties are also great. They shouldn't be this ruthless, right? Baokai suddenly had a bright idea. He activated the jar and brought out the dragon sparrow. You. The dragon sparrow looked at Baokai and Su Yan. Seeing their battered appearance, the dragon sparrow didn't even dare to breathe loudly. It was very clear about its ending. It also wanted to live a bit longer. Su Yan held a killing sword and directly pressed it against the dragon sparrow's neck. What are you doing? The dragon sparrow said in fear. I have something you want to know. Don't kill me. I can tell you. Chi. Su Yan swung the killing sword and cut off one of the dragon sparrow's wings. Ah! The dragon sparrow cried out in pain. It was in so much pain that it wanted to die. Its entire wing was cut off. Its originally serious injuries were now worse. The dragon sparrow felt like it had fallen into hell. It trembled in fear and said in a trembling voice, What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Baokai looked at the dragon sparrow coldly. It had originally treated it as a brother, but it had completely sold it out. Speak. How can the people of the demon realm always find us? Su Yan's killing sword was pressed against its neck as he coldly shouted, If I don't get a satisfactory answer, you could go straight to hell. I'll only give you one chance, only one chance. I really don't know anything. The dragon sparrow was scared out of its wits. It did not doubt Su Yan's determination. It said in fear, I really don't know what you're talking about. I really don't have the ability. If you want to know anything else, just ask. I won't hide anything. Su Yan raised his hand and slashed down, causing the dragon sparrow's scalp to explode in fear. However, it could not say anything. This dragon sparrow definitely did not know the inside story. Su Yan's eyes flashed with a trace of coldness as he cut off the dragon sparrow's head. I can only capture it alive. Chapter 505. Is Madman Su really that big of a threat? Why would he touch their nerves? Some people were puzzled. This was no longer a battle between the younger generation. Su Yan's rise had touched their nerves. Several peak races didn't hesitate to dispatch troops to hunt down Su Yan. This caused people to feel despair. However, the peak races had their own dignity. Normally, they wouldn't lower themselves to dispatch troops to hunt down a young man. The Ancestral Hall and the Nether Underworld lineage have been pursuing the Buried Region clan for countless years. Since Madman Su is a rising star of the Buried Region clan, they will not allow him to continue growing. The problem now is that the three races have sent many heroes to the Forbidden Area to search for Madman Su's whereabouts. The boundless Forbidden Area was filled with experts. Even a few traps would find it difficult to trap them. News continued to spread and attracted the attention of all the major powers. Since Su Yan had killed his way out of the demon realm's blockade, he had already encountered 5 bloody battles. Some people saw with their own eyes that Su Yan's group of 3 were seriously injured. The demon realm was always able to lock onto their tracks. This caused the experts of the various races to be flabbergasted. Just how did the demon realm accomplish this? The Ancestral Hall and the Underworld race were also wantonly attacking. They felt that this was the best opportunity to eliminate Su Yan. It wasn't that they were doubting the demon realm's power. After all, Su Yan was a strange expert who was like a fish in water in the Forbidden Area. In order to ensure that nothing would go wrong, the 2 races also dispatched a large number of cultivators to the Forbidden Area. The alliance of the 3 great powers caused the spectators to tremble. This battle formation was simply too great. It could be considered a dragon's lair or a tiger's den. Some people felt that Su Yan would be buried in the encirclement of the 3 great powers. Damn it, we've been surrounded. Tai Rooster coughed out blood. More than half of the sparse silver feathers on his body had fallen off. His body was bare and dyed in blood. He carried Su Yan and Tai Baokai as they crazily traversed through space. For 2 days and 2 nights, they had been ambushed 5 times. The enemy did not give them any time to catch their breath. In these 2 days, the miser had wanted to charge further, but he gradually discovered the seriousness of the problem. This was because the area within a radius of hundreds of thousands of miles had been sealed off. Space arrays had been activated, and universe masters were standing guard. Even if they could force their way out, the moment they did so, more great beings would be attracted, and their chances of dying would be even higher. In short, the Devil Realm had paid a heavy price. For the sake of the banners of demons, they would pay any price. Su Yan's body was riddled with wounds. As his injuries worsened, the heaven-mending technique could not heal his wounds in a short period of time. Some of the wounds even affected his foundation. This caused Su Yan to be horrified. If he could not heal and stabilize his injuries, then the consequences would be quite serious. It was very likely that it would affect his future cultivation foundation. There aren't many precious medicines left. Su Yan silently nibbled on the king medicine and used the heaven-mending technique to draw upon the king medicine's power. The king medicine's life force was exuberant as it passed through Su Yan's limbs and bones, nourishing the fatal wounds on Su Yan's body. He was also glad that he had the heaven-mending technique. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to hold on. As he drew in layer after layer of the king medicine's essence to heal his wounds, Su Yan's ruined body began to glow. He could clearly feel that his injuries were beginning to recover under the nourishment of the heaven-mending technique. The speed could not be considered fast, but for Su Yan's injuries, it was already quite extraordinary. If only I had the complete heaven-mending technique, Su Yan secretly said in his heart. Fortunately, he had obtained a batch of great medicines from the treasury. Now, they were of great help. He swallowed batch after batch of great medicines to nourish his injured body. Boom! Before Su Yan could even digest a portion of the king medicine's medicinal strength, the boundless space began to tremble and distort intensely. It was as if it was being twisted into a fried dough twist. This scene was too sudden. The miser's body began to distort as well, and the bones within his body began to show signs of shattering. He couldn't help but release an angry roar. This group of dogs is fucking coming again. However, this time, the battle formation made the miser curse out loud. A large battleship crossed over from the void. It surged with heaven overflowing silver divine radiance. In that instant, it smashed into the void, and the great cracks extended far into the distance. This mountain forest trembled, and layer after layer caved in. This was but a spatial battleship, and its value was extremely high. It crossed over just like this and smashed toward the miser. Damn your grandpa! The miser went crazy, using the battleship to smash into them. This was just too deranged. The silver battleship shone, and the fluctuations it released were extremely fierce. It contained an extremely powerful suppressive force, making it extremely difficult for the miser to resist. It was to the extent that this type of battleship contained the power of space. It immediately suppressed Su Yan until his entire body began to tremble. Scoundrel! Su Yan's eyes surged with a terrifying, ominous glint. This battle was just too sullen. The enemy was in the dark, and they were in the light. However, the problem was that they had no idea how the fiend domain locked onto their position again and again. Pung! The silver divine battle armor the miser wore was completely shattered. It had blocked countless attacks for Su Yan, and now it broke apart under the silver battleship's attack. The miser cried out miserably. One of his wings was even broken, and he was smashed into the mud. It was a tragic sight. Let's go. Su Yan swung his large sleeves. His palm suddenly extended downwards, and with the earth overturning imprint, he stirred up the terrain here. The moment it surged upwards, it blocked the silver battleship that was smashing down. Su Yan extremely decisively dove into the ground, traveling through the energy of the earth veins. As soon as he left, the silver battleship already pressed down, causing the earth to cave in. All types of great cracks extended outwards, and the area within a range of 100 li was blasted apart. They won't be able to escape. We'll be able to capture him very soon. The Fiend Domain's elites were full of confidence. Su Yan's injuries were so severe that there was no way he could continue to hold on. They felt that the next time was the opportunity to capture Su Yan. As long as they could bring back the banners of demons, no matter the price, it would be worth it. I want to break through. I want to cultivate to the great Tao realm. I must break through. Su Yan gritted his teeth. His ruined body shone as he refined the Medicine King's power. These few days of life and death, the dangerous situations he encountered, allowed his control of his corporeal body in the pinnacle realm to reach a higher level. He felt that he was very close to breaking through now. Only by stepping out could Su Yin be trapped. Then, no matter how great the killing situation was, it wouldn't be able to trap him. In the divine, spiritual mountain range, only an invincible overlord could run amok. Su Yin has appeared again. He was hit by the battleship, and his injuries are even more severe. When the news spread out, it attracted the elites of the Ancestral Hall and the dark underworld lineage. They were very puzzled. How on earth did the Fiend Domain do it? They were actually able to accurately deduce Su Yan's whereabouts. However, this was definitely a good thing for them. The heroes of the Ancestral Hall were unable to contain their joy. There were already elites secretly communicating with the Fiend Domain. They wanted to capture Su Yin alive, and the Ancestral Hall was even willing to pay a great price. The Fiend Domain was also puzzled. Their target wasn't Su Yin, but the banners of demons controlled by Tai Bao Kai. However, why was the Ancestral Hall so unwilling to let this matter rest and wanted to capture Su Yin? It wasn't a big deal to hand Su Yin over to the Ancestral Hall. They had secretly reached an agreement, and they didn't feel that there would be any unexpected changes in the plan to capture Su Yin. I want to destroy his fighting spirit bit by bit so that Su Yin won't commit suicide when the time comes to capture Su Yin. Shen Hongyun's expression was ice cold as he smiled cruelly. After experiencing so many deadly dangers, this small fish is probably going to lose his ability to resist. You guys just wait quietly. This time, I will strike like lightning and capture Su Yin and the others in one fell swoop. Good. We congratulate you guys in advance for everything going smoothly. The experts from the Ancestral Hall who came to negotiate were very satisfied. The Fiend Domain was doing this for the banners of demons, while the Ancestral Hall was doing this for Su Yin. Their interests didn't conflict, and the Fiend Domain was also happy to cooperate with the Ancestral Hall. In the boundless forbidden area, killing lights shot out in all directions as experts covered the sky. There were too many powerful enemies attacking. They sealed the area inside and outside, shrinking the encirclement layer by layer. They were well aware of Su Yan's methods, and in order to ensure that nothing went wrong, they also arranged a large number of people in the outer regions. In short, this place had already been sealed, and now no one could kill their way in. Of course, not even a fly could fly out. Oh my God, the commotion is too big. If Madman Su can kill his way out alive, then I'll walk backward from now on. The storm caused by this matter was too terrifying. There were countless spectators, and they were all looking at the sealed forbidden area. They saw endless killing lights rushing into the sky, and it was as if great waterfalls were descending one after another from the outer realms. One after another, battleships filled the sky as large numbers of experts came out of the lock. They were preparing to reel in the net. Shen Hongyun felt that it was about time. They had already reached this point, and delaying any further would be a waste of time. Why is there only an approximate location this time? Could it be that we can't deduce his precise location? Shen Hongyun frowned. He had once again obtained Su Yan's hiding place. Su Yan escaped to a dangerous area, and we can only deduce his approximate location. A subordinate came to report. That's nothing much. So what if it's a dangerous area? Our Fiend Domain is enough to flatten it, and we can also break through the dangerous area, dig out a batch of treasures, and return with a bountiful harvest. Ha! Shen Hongyun waved his hand and shouted, "Move out with me and capture Su Yin alive. We'll bring back the banners of demons for the Northern Fiend Supreme Sovereign." As of now, the divine spiritual mountain ranges, forbidden areas, and dangerous areas were divided into 10. Right now, the area Su Yin was in belonged to the 6th dangerous area. The death rate of Great Dao Realm experts was extremely high. Su Yin had already traveled through 5 of the 10 dangerous areas, but he still couldn't find any traces of the remnant meridians. If the remnant meridians weren't destroyed, then they must be in other dangerous areas. He wondered if there were any traces of the yin-yang remnant meridians in this sixth dangerous area. Charge! Heroes passed through, and thousands of troops galloped. When the Fiend Domain's army recovered, large numbers of soldiers from the Ancestral Palace and the dark underworld lineage also charged, heading for the sixth dangerous area. This area surged with bloody light, as if it was the place where ancient gods and demons had fallen. All sorts of killing intents of gods and demons interweaved in this world, and there were also countless remnant formations. However, the Fiend Domain's movements were too great. The 10 Great Star battleships opened up a path, crushing everything in their way and destroying a large number of ancient remnant formations. They were already very close to their destination. I see Madman Sue. He's standing at the periphery of the sixth dangerous area, sitting cross-legged on a mountain. His entire body is covered in blood, and it seems like he's exhausted all of his strength. An Ancestral Palace expert laughed angrily. He's really pitiful. Ha ha! It seems like Madman Sue has already given up on resisting. So what if it's the sixth dangerous area? It's his grave? Endless troops charged over, and all sorts of divine energy whizzed out, turning into layers of superstorms that rumbled as they circulated, shaking the rivers and mountains. It was like a tsunami released by nature, rushing into the sky, and bloody light covered the sun. Everything seemed extremely terrifying, and the atmosphere between heaven and earth was extremely oppressive. Endless troops charged, battleships opened up a path, and experts soared through the sky. An extremely terrifying disaster pressed down on the sixth dangerous area, causing this vast, dangerous area to tremble. Roar! The Baokai raised its big round head, wearing the bronze force armor that Su Yin had taken off, and its aura increased infinitely. Damn it, they're coming. Let's give them a taste of our power. The heavily injured Iron Rooster stood on Su Yan's shoulder, looking at the thousands of troops charging over from all directions. In front of them were 10 battleships opening up a path, and there were dozens of universe masters standing tall. It was a magnificent lineup. The scene was so shocking that some of the onlookers trembled. With such a large lineup, they suspected that even the Sun Dome would be suppressed. It seems like you've already given up on resisting. I think you should just bind yourselves and walk out of the sixth dangerous area. Shen Hongyun laughed loudly, pointing at the chaotic spear, Su Yin, and the other two from afar. Countless troops charged over, and all sorts of killing lights were gushing out, illuminating the night sky. Su Yin was still recovering from his injuries, absorbing the life essence of Medicine King. Chapter 506. The voice from ominous ground number 6 startled the creatures that were rushing towards this place. Then, the army let out an angry laughter that shook the clouds. Their momentum swept across the sky, causing the entire ominous ground number 6 to tremble. After all, there were too many soldiers here. Many cultivators from the Ancestral Hall and the Underworld branch were also here. When they heard Su Yan's words, they felt like they had heard the funniest joke in the world. Even Sun Dome or King Flash wouldn't be able to get out of this dangerous place. You're about to die, and you're still boasting. Shen Hongyun didn't care at all. He sneered. Su Yin, oh Su Yin, you're really not afraid of death. Today, I'll fulfill your wish. The chaotic spear glowed with a bright and terrifying light filled with chaotic light beams. At the same time, Shen Hongyun secretly gave an order to capture Su Yin alive instead of killing him. The price that the Ancestral Hall had to pay was extremely tempting. As for Tai Baotsai's life, he didn't care. He only wanted the banners of demons. Given the toughness of the banners of demons wouldn't be damaged even if the ominous land number 6 was destroyed. Kill! Shen Hongyun roared. Countless soldiers charged into the ominous land number 6. Even though this place was filled with murderous intent, it still couldn't help but tremble in the face of such a lineup. At this moment, the cultivators who were charging in almost overturned the ominous land number 6. The tranquility of this blood-colored world was broken, and the killing became even more desperate, madly rushing in like a storm. Madman Sue is done for. What a pity that Madman Sue couldn't fight a glorious battle. I wonder how strong he is right now. It's a pity that he's going to die like this. The spectators following from a far side. They saw with their own eyes that the regions were sinking layer by layer. 10 battleships opened up a path and smashed the ancient remnant formation. Dozens of universe masters unleashed all kinds of suppression-type techniques and swept towards Su Yin. Everything was covered up. The outer area of ominous land number 6 was filled with murderous rays. They covered Su Yin and rapidly dived down. Boom! The mountains and rivers lost their colors as the ocean-like power poured down, causing the earth to tremble. One mountain range after another began to rumble. Facing this level of suppression, Su Yin felt that his body was about to be crushed. This was enough to make anyone despair. Who could stop this kind of power? Let's begin. Su Yin's eyes were filled with coldness. They were fully prepared. Otherwise, Su Yin would not have chosen to wait for them in the outer region. Instead, he would have chosen to barge into fearsome land number 6 to deal with them. How? Tai Baokai suddenly stood up. The power of force armor combined with bout-sized combat strength made its aura monstrous and its blood boiling. Of course, this kind of strength was nothing in the face of the various sources of power that came crushing over. However, when Tai Baokai took out a large flag, the flag flapped loudly in the wind, revealing all kinds of prehistoric, ferocious auras. This made Shen Hongyun, who was holding the chaotic battle spear, suddenly turned gloomy. Shen Hongyun trembled. He recognized that it was the Banners of Demons. The Banners of Demons was the most valuable treasure in the Demon Zone. Shen Hongyun had seen the power of the Banners of Demons with his own eyes. When Tai Baokai took out the Banners of Demons in the Demon Zone, it triggered the power of the world origin of the Demon Zone. It was extremely terrifying. Once the Banners of Demons returned to the Demon Zone, the Demon Zone would be in control of the ultimate killing weapon. But now, Tai Baokai had taken out the Banners of Demons. What was it trying to do? Could it be that it could use the power of the Banners of Demons? Impossible. Shen Hongyun did not believe that Tai Baokai could use the power of the Banners of Demons. It was said that the Banners of Demons could only be used by the Demon Zone's paragons. However, Tai Baokai was not a paragon's paragons, and its cultivation level was not high. How could it use the power of the Banners of Demons? When the Banners of Demons appeared, the demons trembled. This was a fear that came from the bloodline. They all knelt down and cowed out. What is this? The strong masters of the Ancestral Hall and the Umber Branch were shocked. They felt that the Banners of Demons that Tai Baokai had taken out was a little scary. However, there was no turning back. They had so many people. How could they be afraid of Tai Baokai and the other two? Kill! The crowd of heroes rushed down. The scene was quite spectacular. The suppression caused the universe to tremble and the void to explode. Endless terrifying auras rushed towards Su Yin. At this moment, Tai Baokai let out a wild roar. It was as if it had turned into a beast god that had once conquered the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The moment its blood boiled, the colorful ancient flag suddenly surged with a prehistoric, ferocious fluctuation. In a short period of time, Tai Baotsai's bloodline power was completely extracted, including its divine power. This also caused the Banners of Demons to awaken. Even if it was only a little power, it caused the entire Danger Zone 6 to resound with deafening cries of ghosts and gods. The entire Danger Zone 6 was covered in a bloody waterfall. The phantoms of the ancient gods appeared frequently. They stood above the sea of blood and roared to shatter the heavens. This place had become the domain of the gods. An endless source of destruction spread throughout the Forbidden Zone. What happened? The experts were terrified. They could feel the aura of the Danger Zone 6 even from a long distance away. At first, there were all kinds of terrifying prehistoric auras leaking out. When the Banners of Demons started to dance, the Danger Zone 6 seemed to have shattered. The flag seemed to have crushed the sea of stars and emitted the aura of a peerless demon emperor. This was a fluctuation that caused all living beings to tremble in fear. Of course, Su Yan's trump card was not the Banners of Demons. The Banners of Demons were very powerful and could help them break through the situation. However, this was the godly mountain range. The stronger the eruption of power, the easier it was to trigger the killing formation of the godly mountain range. This was especially true in the Danger Zone 6. Once this kind of energy appeared, it would definitely trigger the killing formation of the godly mountain range. The whole Danger Zone 6 was like a blood-colored giant beast that had been awakened by the aura of the banners of demons. In a moment, the whole place was in complete chaos. The aura of purgatory spread out and emitted a terrifying aura that could annihilate all the gods and devils in the sky. As the instigators, Su Yin and the other two were naturally the first to charge at them. However, with the banner of the banners of demons, they were able to block off the terrifying aura of purgatory. Run! Shen Hongyun and the others were going crazy. The energy of the banners of demons had alarmed the Danger Zone 6. The whole place was like thousands of blood-colored evil dragons that had broken out of their cages. Billions of rays of blood-colored light rushed in all directions and swept across the universe. In front of this world-destroying power, the demons were crushed and exploded into a bloody mist. One after another, the Universe Master's protective treasures exploded and were torn into pieces under the impact of the blood-colored light. Groups of cultivators who charged at them exploded one after another. There was no chance for them to escape. Only great beings with deity weapons could survive for a short period of time. This was especially true for Su Yin and the other three. Although they were protected by the power of the banners of demons, the Baokai still couldn't unleash the true power of the banners of demons. The blood-colored light shook the banner of the banners of demons like an ocean. A terrifying aura seeped in, making Su Yin and the other two feel like they were going to be destroyed. Shua! All kinds of killing formations were activated. Su Yin was fully prepared. They would surround them sooner or later, so he decided to take a gamble with the banners of demons. These killing formations exploded one after another. Su Yin took out all kinds of secret treasures like crazy and threw out all kinds of Dao weapons he had obtained. Large amounts of defensive treasures were crushed by the blood-colored storm. If it weren't for the banners of demons blocking the most powerful killing formation, they would have died in one move. This was a killing formation that could make even deities nurse a grudge. Even the Divine King didn't dare to enter this forbidden area. One could imagine how serious the consequences would be. This lunatic, a Supreme Master, screamed. He was riddled with holes in one move, and fear rose from his soul. Even his deity weapons exploded and shattered into pieces. The void collapsed into a huge black hole, and boundless blood-colored light swept across thousands of miles of mountains and rivers. Accompanied by all kinds of bloody smell, too many soldiers and horses exploded into a bloody mist. This scene made the onlookers tremble with fear. Some of them almost wet their pants. Mutual destruction. Someone thought of this word and felt a chill in his heart. He lost control and said, "This is mutual destruction. Even lunatic Su won't be able to survive. How many people will die? How many will be able to survive?" This killing formation is even more terrifying than a riot in a super treasure trove. Many people lost control of their emotions and cried out in alarm. What happened over there? Everything within a range of several 100,000 li was pierced through by the blood-colored light. It was as if a sea of blood was born, passing through the great cosmos and drowning out many stars. Vicious Earth 6 exploded at the same time. The killing formations left behind by the fall of all types of deities were born, destroying heaven and earth. Everything was too miserable. Countless people died, over 10,000 corpses lying on the ground. Hurry and take a look. A large group of cultivators rushed over. When they saw this from the distance, they were all stunned. There was blood everywhere, gathering into a river. There was almost no one left alive. Shen Hongyun crawled out from a pool of blood. He was still alive because of the primal chaos war spear's protection. However, he was in an extremely miserable state, half of his body shattered, only the upper half remaining. He released a roar of pain. Su Yin. Shen Hongyun released a heart-tearing, lung-splitting roar. "I'm going to kill you, kill you, kill you." Shen Hongyun was about to go crazy. They were all dead, only he was left. He really did not expect that Su Yin would choose to die together with them. Su Yin risked his life to unleash the power of the 10,000 demon flag, lifting the strongest killing zone of fearsome land number 6 and burying thousands of soldiers. These were all soldiers under North Demon, but now they were all slaughtered. Shen Hongyun was in extreme pain. Even the primal chaos war spear in his hand had cracks. There were even some cracks, so one could imagine how cruel the situation was. You want to kill me in this state? Then, I can only chop you up first. A cold voice spread over, making Shen Hongyun's scalp go numb. Was Su Yin still alive? In a world where blood flowed, a shadow crawled out from the end, giving off a heaven overflowing killing light. You are still alive. Shen Hongyun was terrified. He crawled in a panic, wanting to escape. If I don't kill you, how can I bear to leave this world? Su Yin descended from the sky, his head of hair dancing in the wind. He stepped on the sky like an iron-blooded war god. He raised his foot and stomped down on Shen Hongyun. No, save me. Shen Hongyun was terrified. He had already been split into half, unable to even crawl up. He didn't have any strength left. Hong Long. Chapter 507. Over 10,000 corpses were strewn across the broken territory. The battlefield was tragic, and the smell of blood permeated the air. The aura of death was suffocating. Too many people had died. Thousands of soldiers and horses were crushed by the murderous aura of ominous land number 6. The scene was shocking, and the spectators felt their scalps go numb. They could not forget the bloody scene just now. Ominous land number 6 was known as a bloody giant. It opened its bloody mouth and swallowed the allied army of the 3 clans. In short, it was too tragic. Some of the spectators almost fell to the ground, trembling. Especially when they saw the shadow rushing out from the sea of corpses. They felt their hair stand on end. It was as if they saw a demon lord crossing through time and space. He descended from the sky and trampled Shen Hongyun to death. Annihilated. Some people felt a chill in their hearts. None of the experts who came survived. Even Shen Hongyun, who wielded the Chaos Spear, was trampled to death by Su Yin. The entire Forbidden Zone seemed to have quieted down. The bloody light emitted by ominous land number 6 was too terrifying. Even now, there were still aftershocks. The bloody divine light was about to sweep across the entire Forbidden Zone. Madman Su, the spectating cultivators opened their mouths but didn't know what to say. Originally, they thought that Su Yin wouldn't be able to survive and that only death awaited him. However, they never imagined that he would actually defy the heavens and kill an entire army. This was a trap against the gods, and it was drawn out by Su Yin. Ominous land number 6 was a super fuse. The moment it exploded, the entire world seemed to have quieted down. The spectators were dumbfounded as they looked at the barren land within 10,000 miles. There was blood, broken bones, and broken weapons everywhere. It was like the curtains of a huge battlefield had fallen. As for the Tai Baokai, it had already fainted. When it unleashed the power of the banners of demons, it exhausted all its resources to trigger the trap of ominous land number 6. This plan was very risky. After all, it was equivalent to perishing together with the enemy. However, there was no other way. Su Yin had no choice but to use this ultimate move. It intimidated all the creatures in the universe. Even though there were experts from the Ancestral Hall and the Umbra branch nearby, they were still terrified from the bottom of their hearts. Who would dare to attack him now? Who knew if he still had any trump cards? Pooh! Su Yin coughed up a mouthful of blood. His body was torn apart, and he staggered. He had suffered serious internal and external injuries. It was too fierce just now. If it weren't for the banners of demons guarding this area, they would have died without a doubt. However, the banners of demons' power was not something that Baokai could unleash. Although they blocked most of the attacks, some of the power seeped in and injured them. Su Yin resisted the urge to collapse. He stood in the pool of blood, his hair fluttering in the wind. The light in his eyes was terrifying. I don't know if I can make it out alive, Su Yin clenched his fists. He took a deep breath and looked at Ominous Land number 6. His eyes flashed with passion. When Ominous Land number 6 was fully awakened, the dragon totem emitted a blazing heat. There must be treasures hidden here. As for Ominous Land number 6, it was difficult to count the number of ancient arrays. When Ominous Land number 6 was fully awakened, Su Yin faintly calculated a path. He can't hold on much longer. Some experts couldn't wait any longer. They saw Su Yin's body trembling. There were many cracks on his body. He could fall at any time. When someone saw Su Yin pick up the primal chaos battle spear that was lying horizontally on the ground, their eyes turned red. After all, the primal chaos battle spear was not badly damaged. It could still be considered complete. The chaos spear was Long Shi's weapon. He was ranked second on the potential list. There was no need to say how powerful this weapon was. It also saved Shun Hongyun's life. Unfortunately, he was still able to escape Su Yan's ultimate move. Su Yin, do you still have a life to fight with us here? All of a sudden, a suppressive aura rushed out from the distant world. Tuoba Tian stood at the end of the horizon and said coldly, I admit that you are very powerful. You have killed so many people. It should be enough for you to die with them, right? Tuoba Tian took out a spear that was glowing. He pointed it at Su Yin and shouted, the price has been paid. Now, it is time for you to give up your life. In fact, the Ancestral Palace and the Dark Underworld branch, who had fought with Su Yin many times before the monster domain came here, felt that things wouldn't be so simple. Some of the experts didn't follow too closely, and they were lucky enough to survive. This place has been sealed. Even if we kill them all, Su Yin, you won't be able to escape. An Ancestral Palace expert stood out and said coldly, even if you escape, you won't be able to escape a second time. Su Yin, the supreme treasure of our race, isn't that easy to take. The Purple Jade King also stood out. He had his hands behind his back and looked down at the man standing in the pool of blood. Looking at his battered body, the Purple Jade King looked up and laughed. Look at you. You can't even stand properly now. Su Yin, you killed so many experts of the monster domain. I will turn you into ashes. A monster domain Overlord roared. He had come one step too late, but he was lucky enough to survive. Some cultivators felt that Su Yin had created a miracle just now, but the current situation made them smile bitterly. Yes, the encirclement was still there. Su Yin had killed these people, but there was still an endless stream of troops coming. No matter how many trump cards he had, he wouldn't be able to exhaust them like this. One after another, experts with terrifying auras erupted. Every one of them was an expert who had comprehended the great Tao domain. The 10 overlords of the universe revived here. They were all top-notch existences, and it was as if the 10 greats were burning. Their overflowing auras suppressed the heaven and earth. At this point, the weak didn't even have the courage to stand out. Come, all of you can come at me together. Su Yin looked up to the sky and laughed. He released the iron-blooded battle physique amidst the mountain of corpses and blood. He shouted angrily, all of you, get over here and surrender. I will kill all of you. His thunderous voice resounded in all directions. All the cultivators who heard this were terrified. Could it be that Su Yin still had some trump card? For a moment, no one dared to move. The Purple Jade King and Tuoba Tian, the 2 overlords of the younger generation, were afraid. If Su Yin could still trigger a massacre in the Ominous Land number 6, they would all be buried with him. No one would be able to survive. Su Yin, don't try to mislead people with your lies. This is just a last-ditch struggle. If you can lure out the killing trap one more time, I will change my surname to yours. The Purple Jade King said fiercely. Even if you can lure them out, you, Su Yin, won't be able to survive. Tuoba Tian sneered. You are the only descendant of the buried region left. If you die, your race will be completely annihilated. The 10 overlords regained their confidence and courage. They took out their killing weapons and stood in all directions, ready to make a move. Ha ha ha. Su Yin laughed angrily. You're just a bunch of scoundrels who only know how to hide in the back. All of you, scram over here and let me see how you're going to kill me. Or rather, All of you will die here with me." This scene of corpses and blood was indeed terrifying. Although Tooba and the other overlords were powerful, they didn't dare to act recklessly. "What? No one dares to come?" Su Yin sneered. "I am right here. If you guys don't come, I will leave." "You can't leave," the Purple Jade King said eerily. "I am deploying my men. You can't leave. Even if we use numbers, we can kill you." "You coward!" Su Yin shook his head and turned around to leave. He walked in the territory of the long river of blood with his back facing them. Su Yin walked step by step toward ominous land number 6. There was no way out. All he could do now was to charge in and fight. If he didn't, who knew what the outcome would be? The 10 overlords were enraged. It was as if the 10 heavenly furnaces were burning. Their auras were very terrifying. They were all great beings who ruled over a region. However, they didn't dare to charge in and attack the severely injured Su Yin. This made them feel humiliated. Kill. The 3 overlords couldn't hold back anymore. If this was spread out, they would become a laughing stock. Kill. The moment the ancestral hall moved, Tooba and the others also erupted. They activated their strongest trump cards and charged into the sea of corpses with boundless killing intent. They are making a move. Can Madman Su retreat? Why do I feel like he is going to ominous land number 6? Madman Su has no way out. He can be found in the demon region. If he's not in ominous land number 6, he'll be in greater danger outside. That's right. I wonder if Madman Su will choose to die with them. If the same thing happens again, no one will be able to withstand it. They will all die here. The cultivators who were watching the battle were excited. Some of the great beings who hoped that Su Yin could rise up prayed for him in their hearts. Even more people saw the 10 universe masters rushing into the mountain of corpses and the sea of blood, making the broken territory tremble. When they approached, Su Yin, who was walking with his back facing them, stopped. His eyes flashed fiercely. The 10 universe masters were too fast, and they were also very decisive. They used their strongest powers to capture Su Yin. When the raging waves that filled the sky fell from the sky, the moment when they were about to envelop Su Yin, look! Someone cried out in alarm, releasing sounds of disbelief. They saw a figure rise from within the destructive killing light, as if it was a young heavenly deity. A terrifying aura was released from his body. The universe exploded, and the divine light in the sky shattered. Su Yan's hair danced in the wind. His entire treasure body released an energy as vast as the ocean. What was this? This was the power of the Silver Force Armor. Su Yin risked his life to activate the Silver Force Armor. He wanted to fight again. Boom! Su Yan's aura soared to the heavens. His precious body rippled with an almost destructive power as he soared to the heavens. His attack caused the heavens to tremble as an endless amount of divine light descended. Kill! Su Yin let out a roar and raised his fist. The universe was cracked by his divine power. His fist was like an ancient star that had come back to life. It was magnificent and peerless. Chapter 508. The stars in the sky sank and roared with Su Yan's punch. The punch was domineering, emitting a wave that could suppress the heavens, covering thousands of miles of mountains and rivers. As his punch moved, it was as if he was pushing the stars in the sky. The mountains and rivers lost their color, and the mountains rumbled. The all-heaven secret technique, Big Dipper Fist, exploded. In Su Yan's current state, he pushed the power of the Big Dipper Fist to another level. His entire treasure body was like a condensed Big Dipper star region. His fist could be called the strongest life ancient star, the Big Dipper star. Kill! He let out a long roar and exploded with his strongest attack. He punched the sky and bombarded the 10 universe masters. The punch was unstoppable, filled with the supreme power of the all-heaven. The Big Dipper Fist was the all-heaven secret technique. In Su Yan's desperate state, the Big Dipper Fist shattered the universe and blasted the sky full of godly light. A star region appeared behind him. It condensed together and turned into a huge star that supported the sky. It began to rise and fall along with Su Yin. Long. The punch blasted the sky, and the 10 universe masters trembled. The secret technique of the universe was indeed the secret technique of the universe. It was an unparalleled attack power, and the higher one's cultivation level was, the stronger the power of the Big Dipper fist would be. The punch also contained the strongest power of Su Yan's human body. This was the power of the silver force armor. Of course, with Su Yan's human body limit, there was a limit to the amount of energy he could withstand, but it was enough for Su Yan to fight. Su Yan completely destroyed the Golden Era. One could imagine how magnificent it was. The stars in the sky roared and rotated, about to fall and explode with Su Yan. 5 of the 10 universe masters were blown away and coughed up blood. Their chests were caved in by the punch, and their hearts almost burst. This caused them to tremble and be horrified. How could Madman Su still be able to erupt with such powerful strength? What kind of secret treasure did he use? Even a secret treasure had a limit, right? It had to be said that the force armor was special. Only the people of the Zong region could use it. Even if Su Yan used up all of his energy, he could still use the power of the force armor to replenish his energy. Of course, the consequences would be severe, and it would cause severe damage to his body. However, Su Yan had to use the power of force armor if he wanted to enter Danger Zone 6. The onlookers were completely dumbfounded. What was this? How could Su Yan get up again and again? And now, he even has a combat strength that surpasses his previous strength. How did Su Yan do it? Even if he used an artifact, there should be a limit, right? Su Yan had already swallowed the last portion of the quasi-divine medicine and used the heaven-mending technique to maintain his body. If he didn't have this secret technique, Su Yan wouldn't have dared to do this. This was because it would leave behind a scar that was difficult to heal, and it would deal a devastating blow to his cultivation foundation. Even if you are the reincarnation of a god, you will still die here. Tuoba Tian and the Purple Jade King roared crazily. After all, the two of them were supreme beings of the star domain. Their combat strength was extremely strong, and they were the overlords of the younger generation. They disdained to join forces with other experts, but Su Yan was too strange. He was actually able to continue fighting. Kill! They charged forward without a word. They felt that this person was full of variables, and they had to kill him to prevent future troubles. Kill! The 10 great experts closed in once again. They circulated the power of the great Tao. They were all great Tao experts who had comprehended domains. Once they joined forces, the power of a 10-layered great Tao domain came crashing down. Even the Purple Jade King and Tuoba Tian were too strong. The moment their great Tao origin imprints awakened, the great Tao domain they created was like a condensed star domain. The airflow they released was terrifying and overflowing. Boom! Tens of thousands of miles of territory trembled, and layers of mud sank down. The pressure was unprecedented and unparalleled. Who could withstand such a degree of killing? The boundless aura shook Su Yan until he coughed up large mouthfuls of blood. However, he was bathed in blood and went crazy. He was like an iron-blooded war god, standing between heaven and earth. His hair danced in the wind, and his eyes shone with killing intent. If I don't kill you all, I'm not going to risk it all. Su Yan withstood the overwhelming pressure. He held the immortal iron staff in his left hand and the chaotic battle spear in his right. The chaotic battle spear was Dragon Snake's artifact. If Su Yan could not even destroy his primordial spirit imprint, wouldn't the Sutra of the future be a pile of scrap paper? With the 2 treasures on him, his aura rose once again. The immortal iron staff released a heaven-shattering, great Tao immortal light, and the chaotic battle spear spewed out a boundless chaotic airflow. He held the 2 artifacts and swung his arms. He was like a demon god that could split the sky as he rose from the sky. Crack! The layers of great Tao domains could not withstand this power and began to crack. The shocking strength of the immortal iron staff and the chaotic power of the chaotic war spear. These 2 powers were too domineering. They crushed the great Tao and soared into the sky. The great Tao domain power of the Purple Jade King and Tuoba Tian began to distort and shatter. Kill! Su Yan rushed up, His heavenly eye of the martial path was wide open, and killing intent erupted from his body. He swung the two treasures and smashed them in all directions. He was like a demon god that was stirring up the universe whirlpool. His aura was too wild. How terrifying! The spectators felt their hair stand on end. They felt that Su Yin was like a god of war. Such a powerful seal could not trap him. Instead, he rushed out and illuminated the universe. The huge immortal iron staff smashed toward a great being. Su Yin held the chaotic battle spear and pierced it toward another great being. The two treasures attacked, and the universe masters who were locked on trembled. They felt like they were going to be pierced through directly. Stop him! The 10 great beings roared. Purple Jade King and Tuoba Tian were especially furious. They took out their deity weapons and charged over. The great battle was bitter and bitter. This ruined territory was riddled with holes, the great cracks endless. Their battle among the mountains of corpses and seas of blood was too tragic. As time passed, the 10 great universe masters felt despair. No matter how they fought, the energy in Su Yan's body seemed to be inexhaustible. The silver armor could push one's combat power to the deity realm, so Su Yin had enough power to fight. Someone screamed. One of his arms had been blasted off by the immortal iron staff. He let out a shrill cry. Then Su Yin rushed over and slapped him into a bloody mist. "Give me your lives," Su Yin roared. The two treasures protecting him were all heavy, killing weapons. Once they were hit, they would either die or be injured. Bastard! The 9 of them were furious. The 10 of them had joined forces, and one of them had died. Could it be that they could not trap Su Yin? The power of the domain of the Great Path, which was as deep as the sea, swept down furiously from all directions. However, Su Yin took the initiative to meet the attack. With the power of the 2 supreme treasures, he blocked the terrifying aura of the Great Path that filled the sky. He let out a series of loud roars that shook several cultivators, causing them to tremble and spit out blood. Some of the universe masters were scared out of their wits. How could this person be so strong? Hadn't he already used up all his energy? How could he still release such strong power? Crack! All of a sudden, a crack appeared on Su Yan's back. It went all the way to the back of his head. His entire spine seemed to have collapsed. Su Yin was in pain. This kind of pain could be said to be heart-wrenching. His soul seemed to be shattering, and his source of life seemed to be collapsing. The serious consequences of the force armor had arrived. The silver force armor was consuming Su Yan's potential. After all, he had used the limit of what a human body could withstand. For a moment, his body was on the verge of breaking apart. Just as Su Yan's body stiffened, a cold silver spear pierced through Su Yan's chest. It made his entire body feel cold. Then, a towering rage emerged from his chest. Even the great being who had pierced through Su Yan's chest with the spear was shocked. He didn't expect that Su Yin didn't even have time to dodge. He also didn't expect that he would succeed. "Get lost!" Su Yin let out a furious roar. His blood-stained hair danced. He raised his immortal iron staff and smashed it behind him, shattering the entire spear. At the same time, he waved the chaotic spear with his other hand. It pierced through the universe master on the spot. As the chaotic air roared, his body also exploded. Blood rained down between heaven and earth. Su Yan's chest was pierced with a broken spear, giving off a murderous aura. He can't hold on any longer. The 9 universe masters were overjoyed. Su Yin was severely injured, and there was a broken spear in his chest. "Let's kill him in one go." They pounced, bursting with terrifying power to attack Su Yin. "Su Yin, it's time for you to die." Purple Jade King saw where the problem was. He noticed that Su Yan's body was cracking. This could be because the secret treasure Su Yin used was too powerful. His body couldn't withstand it for a long time, causing it to crack. The moment the 8 universe masters attacked, Su Yan's eyes widened in anger. His murderous aura shook the world as he used the last forbidden array. Not good. The 8 great beings' expressions changed. They didn't expect Su Yin to have another forbidden array. In this kind of battle, once one's speed was affected, it would be fatal. No matter how strong the 8 of them were, the forbidden array would take some time to break. But Su Yin had already made his move. Kill! Su Yin roared. His entire body reeked of blood, and killing intent spread out. His speed soared. The ancestral phoenix wings combined with earth shrinking left behind terrifying afterimages. He was so fast that even the great beings couldn't see his movements clearly. No! The first great being screamed. Su Yin pounced forward. The ancestral phoenix wings were like an unsheathed immortal sword as it cut off his head. Ah! The second great being trembled in fear. This was a killing god reeking of blood, descending from the sky. With an immortal iron staff in one hand, he was smashed into pieces. Save me! When Su Yin pounced on the third great being, the forbidden array was about to explode. But he couldn't block Su Yan's killing power. The primal chaos spear attacked, piercing through space and tearing his entire body apart. In this short period of time, Su Yin had cut down a total of 3 great beings. How terrifying! The spectators were terrified. One had to know that Su Yin had killed powerful beings among the universe masters. Purple Jade King felt his scalp go numb. 5 of the 10 universe masters had been killed by him. How crazy was this guy? He can't take it anymore. Kill him quickly. Tuoba Tian roared. He saw that there were many cracks on Su Yan's body. He even rushed into the 6th danger zone. Su Yan was very decisive. He didn't want to continue fighting. He felt that his body couldn't take it anymore. The silver force armor was about to destroy Su Yan's body. Do you think you can escape? A cold voice transmitted over. The area was filled with mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Every syllable was abnormally heavy. The world was filled with a sense of oppression. At the end of the horizon, a blood-colored shadow soared up. It was extremely imposing. The world of corpses and seas of blood was like his territory. Yin had arrived. The ferocious aura in his body rippled out like a young supreme being as he strolled over. Every step he took was accompanied by the sound of thunder, causing the mountains and valleys to rumble with muffled thunder. Some of the shattered mountains even exploded. Chapter 509. Yin aura could devour rivers and mountains. His treasured body emitted a suppressive might as his pores spewed out thick dragon-shaped blood essence radiance. This person had refined a draconification fruit. The draconification fruit was the essence of a divine medicine. Because of it, Yin's physical strength had climbed to an unimaginable level. Although Yin wasn't a star domain supreme, there were rumors in the outside world that he had obtained a supreme imprint. Yin was ranked among the peak experts of a younger generation. He was on equal footing with characters like Sun Dome and King Flash. Of course, the great figures of the great sects didn't think that Yin could fight to the death with Sun Dome. Although he was strong, he still wasn't a star domain supreme. However, Yin was already tyrannical enough and would definitely become a peerless existence in the future. Below the Heavenly Supreme, they all possessed super powerful battle strength among their peers. Of course, it wasn't certain that Yin and the other 2 didn't have the qualifications to cultivate to the Heavenly Supreme domain. Or perhaps one of them had hidden very deeply and reached the Heavenly Supreme domain. In any case, Yin's arrival calmed the world down. In this world of corpses and blood, Yin was like the ruler of this place. His divine might was awe-inspiring. Yin, haha, Brother Yin is here. The Violet Jade King and the others were extremely excited. They certainly didn't expect Yin to suddenly attack. Once this kind of peak expert made his move, even Su Yan's secret treasure wouldn't be able to escape Yin's killing blow. It's completely over. Someone stared blankly at Yin. He even came to interfere. How much did he want to kill Su Yin? Does the heavens want Madman Su to die? He's already fought to this extent. He's about to die in battle. Even I sympathize with Madman Su. This is the power of a peak expert. Sigh. Even a young expert like Madman Su, who's about to shake the world, couldn't escape the encirclement of a peak expert. Some spectators felt despair for Su Yin. After all, Yin had already killed his way over and suppressed this world, especially the older generation cultivators. They knew that peak experts couldn't be provoked. Once provoked, it was like poking a hornet's nest. It would be difficult to survive in the universe. After all, their rallying power was too shocking. Most of the powerful races in the universe were related to these peak experts. Moreover, they felt despair and helplessness for Su Yan because of the encirclement of 3 peak experts. Drip! Su Yan's battle clothes were dyed red with blood. Drops of blood flowed down the corners of his clothes. His body was covered with all kinds of hideous wounds, cracks, and blood seeped out. Even his bones could be seen. His injuries were too serious. Su Yan's body was on the verge of exploding at any moment. From the beginning of the battle until now, Su Yan had been using the heaven patching technique to support his physical body and mend the fatal injuries on his body. However, Su Yan's physical body had reached its limit. If he did not leave now, it would be too late. Calm. Be. What? Tens of thousands of soldiers have been killed. 5 of the 10 universe overlords have been sacrificed by Madman Su. Oh God, you're not joking, are you? The commotion caused by the 6th ominous ground was so big that it had already awakened the various major forces. They all rushed over to investigate, and when they received the news, they were all tongue-tied. They did not dare to believe that so many people had died. However, the scene of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood in front of them made them believe it. When they looked at Su Yan, their hearts were cold. Madman Su should be proud of himself. Unfortunately, he can't escape. The 3 peak experts have sent a large number of troops here. They're very close to this place. Their voices were very soft as they stared at the bloody figure standing in the 6th danger zone. Their eyes were filled with admiration. It was already very impressive for him to be able to hold on for so long. Su Yan, I've already told you that you can't escape from me. Yin clasped his hands behind his back. His aura was very powerful, like an evil dragon that had just awakened from its slumber. His aura enveloped this shattered territory as he smiled coldly. Blood of the buried region, you could be considered the most outstanding in this era of the universe. I need your head as a sacrifice to my father. Yin eyes flashed with cold, killing intent. His father had died in a battle 100 years ago. To be more precise, he was trampled to death by the old leader of the Burial Realm race. The Umbra race brought back his father's corpse. Yin devoured his father's corpse and climbed up step by step. Finally, he became the number 1 of the younger generation of the Umbra race. He was one of the top experts of his generation. Come at me, we'll die together. Su Yan turned his head and looked at Yin group. He sneered and said, "This ominous land number 6 is not bad. It's a good place with good feng shui. I think it's better for you to die with me." Su Yan's words still made the Purple Jade King and the others feel fear in their hearts. They couldn't forget the massacre in ominous land number 6. Shun Hongyun, who had the Chaos War Spear, only had half of his body left. Even if Su Yan didn't kill him, it would be hard for him to survive. After all, the injuries were too severe. It was a massacre by a god. A great Tao realm expert wouldn't be able to withstand the power of a god. Yin face was gloomy. Before he came, he heard that Su Yan had triggered a massacre in ominous land number 6, burying thousands of soldiers and horses. Come at me. Su Yan pointed at them and shouted, "If you're not afraid of death, then come at me. I'll wait for you here." Yin eyes flashed with malevolence. He said angrily, "So what if you're in ominous land number 6? If you have the ability, then trigger the massacre here. I don't think you can do it with your current state. What's the point of saying these words at this time? Then come at me. I'll send you to hell." Su Yan pointed at Yin and said those words. Yin was completely enraged. It was as if a blood-red dragon was born. A terrifying aura surged out from his body. "I'll fulfill your wish." Yin instantly broke through the air and attacked. All kinds of divine energy rippled out from his body. He stood in his strongest state and even wore a god's battle armor. He didn't believe that ominous land number 6 could kill him. When the surging, ferocious aura came at him, Su Yin staggered back. Blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. His body staggered and was about to fall to the ground. He can't take it anymore. Madman Su is finished. He can't even withstand In Xian's aura. Kill him and kill him. Purple Jade King and the others suppressed the fear in their hearts. The current Su Yin was already like a crossbow. Even if he could still erupt with the same combat strength as before, how many more attacks could he last? He would definitely disintegrate in the destruction and explode into a pile of ashes. Ha! Madman Su, your path has come to an end. In order to repay the favor of opening the way for you last time, I'll let you die a little easier. In Xian pounced. He directly waved his fist and punched at Su Yin. The ferocious aura of this punch swept the sky. It was as if the door to hell had been opened. In Xian's eyes flashed with disdain. He was confident that he could smash Su Yin into a pulp. Purple Jade King and the others rushed over. The 5 powerhouses laughed. Su Yin had no way out now. An existence like In Xian had already made his move. How could he escape? The sky was filled with energy ripples. In Xian's power was shocking enough. His fist was terrifying. It was like a bloody purgatory that enveloped Su Yin and carried out a brutal killing. Kill. Many people's hearts were in their mouths. First, the 5 powerhouses erupted with the power of the Great Path domain, sealing the area. When the power of the Great Path fell down like a waterfall, it drowned the area where Su Yin was. Especially when In Xian's power filled the sky. This territory of mountains of corpses and seas of blood seemed to be about to be destroyed and blown into ashes. Some people closed their eyes. They could not bear to see such a legend fall under such a cruel situation. Look over there, but someone's voice was trembling as he cried out in alarm. This made the onlookers widen their eyes and focus on the area of destruction. There were faint traces of prehistoric, ferocious aura emerging from it. Boom! Su Yan's eyes widened. The clothes on his arm exploded, revealing the true dragon tattoo that only he could see. When the golden true dragon tattoo shone, the prehistoric ferocious aura rushed out. It was as if the ancestor of the true dragon bloodline was hibernating in Su Yan's arm. When the dragon totem began to awaken, the golden light was like a sea, and the dragon's might shook the sky. It was not like a dragon, but a true dragon of the Great Path. It exuded an incomparably terrifying aura. You want to kill me? You will have to pay the price. Su Yin let out an angry roar. With the dragon totem as a foil, Su Yan's aura was unparalleled. The sun and moon paled in comparison. It was truly a domineering existence in the universe. Boom! When this fist struck, the universe exploded. A resplendent, true dragon coiled around Su Yan's fist, and an unparalleled aura pervaded the air. Kill! Su Yan let out a wild roar. He gave it his all. The dragon fist erupted, and the light that soared up had already cut apart the energy source in the sky. It rushed into the sky and swept up the stars in the universe that were suspended in outer space. Boom! This fist divine might was unparalleled. It could be called the strongest divine ability in history. It was terrifying to the extreme, and it caused the void to tremble. This fist landed solidly, causing the mountains and rivers to rise and fall. A huge abyss was formed in a radius of 10,000 miles, and even the sky was evaporated. It was as if the true dragon of the primordial era had come out of the sea and swept through the outer space, wanting to destroy all life in the universe. No! Heaven and earth exploded. One after another, the great Tao realm masters shattered their bodies in despair. Even their souls were evaporated. They died completely, leaving behind only desperate roars. Purple Jade King and Tuoba Tian were trembling in fear. What kind of unparalleled heavenly power was this? With such power, it was very difficult for them to resist. They could only sacrifice all their potential and treasures in fear to deal with this killing situation. The spectators were all dumbfounded. The 3 masters of the universe were disintegrated. Purple Jade King and Tuoba Tian struggled to hold on. and the large number of treasures they had taken out exploded. A terrifying power attacked their bodies. Of course, the dragon fist was not targeted at them, but Yin Xian's entire arm exploded. The god spirit battle armor that he had taken out was distorted. He let out a painful cry. The power of the dragon totem was taboo, and it caused his body to be shattered. How is this possible? Xian was almost driven crazy. How could Su Yin have such power? If he really had a forbidden treasure refined by God, the power of the forbidden treasure would definitely cause the sixth fearsome land to erupt. However, he did not. The power of the dragon totem originated from its strength, and it was the energy of a god. Therefore, the sixth fearsome land was not targeted. Everything here exploded. Half of Taoba Tian's body collapsed, and a bloody hole the size of a bowl appeared in Purple Jade King's chest. Boom! Chapter 510. Taoba Tian. On the ground of the explosion, some people saw that half of Taoba Tian's body had been smashed into pieces. It was almost impossible for Taoba Tian to survive such a serious injury. This was a star domain supreme with even more prestige than the Peng race's Overlord, the number one figure of the Taoba family's younger generation. Yet he had suffered such a devastating blow that even his life source had been destroyed. There was also the Purple Jade King, but he had many more treasures than Taoba Tian. After all, he was the young master of the Cosmos Business Alliance. Although it was difficult to block the impact of the Dragon Fist, it had blocked most of the attacks for the Purple Jade King. Pooh! The Purple Jade King was sent flying. His body was badly damaged, and he was also in a miserable state. His entire body was covered in blood and flesh, and he let out a miserable cry. The spectating experts were all terrified. What kind of terrifying trump card was this? Even the three well-known figures of the younger generation couldn't withstand it. Xian's entire arm had exploded. If it wasn't for the fact that he was wearing the divine battle armor, his body would have definitely been pierced through just now. Boom! When the primal chaos-killing seal hidden in Xian's sea of consciousness exploded, it fiercely collided with Su Yan's fist. After all, it was a primal chaos divine tool, and the impact was shocking. Su Yan was already seriously injured, and now, under the impact of the primal chaos-killing seal, his body was on the verge of collapse. Pooh! Su Yan was sent flying, and his body spat out a mist of blood. The impact was too shocking. Like a blood-stained meteor, he fell uncontrollably into the depths of Danger Zone 6. However, the primal chaos-killing seal was also hit by the Dragon Fist. Some of the Dragon Fist's power even penetrated the seal's seal and ruthlessly hit Xian's body. Bam! Xian was also sent flying and smashed into a broken mountain. Smoke and dust filled the sky, and blood spurted out. From this moment on, the entire world seemed to have quieted down. The surrounding cultivators all felt a chill from head to toe. Even existence like Xian was seriously injured, and he was buried under the rubble. And this was under the situation where he had a supreme treasure. If he did not have it, Xian would definitely not have survived. Taoba Tian was in the most miserable state. Only half of his body was left. He let out a painful howl like a ghost at death's door. He wanted nothing more than to commit suicide on the spot. This kind of pain was very difficult for him to bear. It was even more painful than being cut into 8 pieces. The energy of this dragon fist contained destructive power. It was extremely painful and unbearable. Admittedly, the Purple Jade King was also badly mutilated. His condition was relatively better, but this kind of injury made it very difficult for him to crawl out of the pool of blood. He clenched his teeth and let out a beast-like growl. His injuries were too severe. If he didn't have any healing panacea, it would be very difficult for him to crawl out of bed without lying in bed for a year or so. However, when the Purple Jade King saw Taoba Tian's pitiful state, he felt somewhat comforted. He could not help but feel a chill in his heart as he angrily roared, "This lunatic, lunatic, lunatic!" The heart-protecting mirror on his chest had already shattered. If not for the heart-protecting mirror protecting his heart, then Su Yan's power would have been enough to destroy the Purple Jade King. Bang! A loud explosion was heard. Xian, who was buried in the rubble, pulled himself up from the ground. His body was riddled with wounds. He let out a long roar of anger. His eyes were red. He was beaten to death by Su Yan just now. Xian's breath was very weak. It was mainly because the primal chaos killing seal helped him block the power of the dragon fist. Otherwise, he would not have survived. After all, Su Yan's fist was aimed at Xian. Su Yan, he is definitely dead. Xian's mournful eyes looked at the sixth ominous land. He saw Su Yan being pushed into the depths of the ominous land by the primal chaos killing seal. He was already severely injured. After being hit by the primal chaos killing seal, Xian did not believe that Su Yan could still survive. Maybe he really died. The onlookers also saw clearly that Su Yan had fallen into the depths of the sixth ominous land. It was very dangerous inside. With Su Yan's injuries, even if he still had a breath, it would be very difficult for him to survive inside. The broken ground was shaking uncontrollably. The sound of iron cavalry trampling could be heard frequently. In the distance, troops from all directions rushed over. Ferocious auras were rolling and filling the sky. There were also many universe masters rushing over. However, the scene in front of them made the charging troops shudder. The smell of blood here was too strong, assaulting their faces, making them shiver one after another, their fine hairs standing on end. What's the situation? Many people were stunned. Their expressions changed drastically after seeing Xian heavily injured. Purple Jade King was badly mutilated. Even Tuoba only had half of his body left. Other than them, there was blood and broken bones everywhere. Oh my God, what happened? Why did so many people die? Where is Madman Su? Did he also explode into a bloody mist? These soldiers and horses all gasped. Some of them looked around stupidly, not knowing what was going on. Young Master, when the Tuoba family troops rushed over, their eyes were all red. They shouted in grief, "Young Master, what happened to you? Who did it? Who did it? Get out here!" The Tuoba family troops rushed over. They were all furious. Tuoba was the star domain supreme of the Tuoba starfield and the strongest of the younger generation of the Tuoba family. However, he was now in such a miserable state. Only half of his body was left. Purple Jade King. The Cosmos Business Alliance troops were also shocked when they saw Purple Jade King's badly mutilated body. He was severely injured and extremely weak. The troops of the two powers were stunned. What was going on? What level of calamity could injure the three of them to this extent? It would be difficult for Tuoba to survive. Sanyan rushed over as well. He was too late, and the battle had already ended. Previously, the demon region had sealed off this area. The strong warriors from the outside couldn't enter at all. It was only when the calamity occurred in the sixth danger zone that the seal was removed. Where's Su Yan? Sanyan looked around, feeling uneasy. Could he have died in battle? Where is he? The various troops from the demon region were all stunned. Why couldn't they see a single life form from the demon region? This battle was initiated by the demon region, but why couldn't they see anyone alive? A huge earthquake erupted here. The spectating cultivators from various races were all shocked. This matter caused a huge uproar and swept through the entire divine mountain range. It shook all the major powers and caused an uproar. Tens of thousands of troops were killed by Su Yan. A large number of universe masters died. Even Xian was almost killed by a single punch. Big news. Tuoba died on the way back. He didn't make it back to his family. The commotion caused by this matter was terrifying. Tuoba had died in battle. A Star Domain Supreme had fallen to the Dragon Fist. Star Domain Supreme, Tuoba died in battle. The Pung race's Overlord also died in battle. Two young Overlords have fallen. They were both the number one of the second-rate powers. It was as if the entire world was shaken. Countless creatures didn't dare to enter the Forbidden Lands. The casualties were heavy, and each piece of news was more shocking than the last. Of course, the most shocking was still Madman Su's death in battle. The commotion it caused was the most spectacular. Madman Su fell into the sixth danger zone. There's no way he could have survived. It's said that his injuries are very serious. The Ancestral Hall still doesn't believe Madman Su is dead. Now, they've already sent an army into the sixth danger zone to search for Madman Su's corpse. I don't believe it. If I don't see Madman Su's corpse, I won't believe he's fallen. Some people didn't believe it, especially those from the Ancestral Hall. If Su Yin had fallen, then all their efforts would have been for naught. The plan to capture Su Yin would be a complete failure. They wanted number 5 alive, not a cold corpse. In short, this matter caused a huge commotion. The great characters from various races outside the ancient Tao were all dumbfounded. Too many people had died. Even Yin Xian almost died in battle. The entire world was in an uproar. Yin Xian and the Violet Jade King had left a long time ago. Their injuries were very serious, and they needed to recuperate in isolation. The three peak powers of the Ancestral Hall are too tyrannical. They sealed off the sixth danger zone and didn't let anyone come close. Madman Su has the primal chaos spear, the mysterious immortal iron rod, and even the inheritance of the occult gate. He's a moving treasury. Even if Madman Su died in battle, the value of his treasures would be hard to measure. The people outside the sixth danger zone sighed. They didn't understand why the Ancestral Hall wanted to capture Su Yin alive. Find him, even if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground. Bring his corpse back to the Ancestral Hall. An expert from the Ancestral Hall said furiously, "Number 5, you can't die. You have to live. Even if you've escaped from the sixth danger zone, it doesn't matter. You have to live. Don't disappoint me. Number 5, you can't die." The people of the Ancestral Hall were furious. What was the point of having a corpse? They wanted Su Yin alive. If Su Yin died, the Ancestral Hall would be worthless. As long as Su Yin was alive, the Ancestral Hall had nothing to worry about. How could the great Ancestral Hall not be able to capture a cultivator who had just stepped into the great Tao realm? The Fiend region had gathered many demon soldiers. Their goal was the banners of demons. As long as they could find Su Yan's corpse, they might be able to dig out the banners of demons. However, the sixth danger zone wasn't that easy to break through. The three factions had encountered many difficulties. It would take some time to break through the sixth danger zone. They weren't in a hurry. Su Yin had fallen into the sixth danger zone. In such a dangerous situation, Su Yin couldn't escape even if he had wings. The sixth danger zone was filled with bloody light. The deeper one went in, the thicker the bloody fog. It was filled with all kinds of fiend god Qi images. 2 days and 2 nights had passed. In the depths of the sixth danger zone, the ancient remnant formations were densely packed. They were mixed with the light of divine blood and emitted a terrifying danger aura. "I'm still alive." A weak voice came from the world that was devoid of life. A blood-stained palm reached out from the soil. It was like a living corpse that crawled out from the dark red ground. Su Yin was severely injured. His blood was mixed with the soil as he crawled out from the ground. "I'm still alive." He panted heavily. His entire body was filled with intense pain. Su Yin pulled the broken cauldron out from the soil. When he fell into the sixth danger zone, Su Yin hid in the cauldron. He could only resign himself to fate. He had no strength left. In the end, he woke up and realized that he was still alive. However, his injuries were so bad that Su Yin felt despair. His entire body was riddled with holes. His life source was barely left. His situation was terrible. "I'm still alive. There's still hope. I can't fall. I still have to go home. This is just a small injury. It's nothing." He shook his head to wake himself up. He looked around. The scenery was a bit blurry. He was too weak and needed to replenish his energy. Su Yin crawled with difficulty. He did not despair. Instead, he crawled with faith. After an unknown amount of time had passed, Su Yin felt more and more powerless. He felt like he was about to die from exhaustion. He could barely muster any strength. His eyes flickered. He did not know where he had crawled to. He saw some broken bones and artifacts on the ground. Their auras were very ancient. This should be the place where the ancient gods shed their blood. Su Yin had a glimmer of hope in his heart. His body surged with strength. He began to search frantically. In the end, his eyes shone with tears of joy. It was a blood-red tree. It was only a foot tall. However, there were 3 red fruits on the sapling. They were filled with vigorous blood essence. Divine Blood Fruit. Chapter 5:11. The growth of the divine blood fruit required a harsh environment. Because of the need for divine spirit aura, even in special areas where the divine blood was spread all over the mud, after years of precipitation, the essence of the divine blood would slowly gather together and form an extremely special secret medicine. This secret medicine was called the divine blood fruit. There are many such fruits in the mountain of divinities. The value of the divine blood fruit was very high. Just the life essence contained within was abundant, and it even contained a certain amount of divine blood essence that could increase the strength of one's bloodline. In short, this fruit was very hard to come by, especially for the current Su Yan. It was a life-saving medicine. He had no strength left in his body, and he couldn't even muster up a trace of energy. He couldn't even open his spatial treasure and could only find food to slowly recover. Only then would he have a chance to survive in Danger Zone 6. One after another, the divine blood fruit entered his stomach. Su Yan wolfed them down and ate a total of 3. He even chewed the sapling of the divine blood fruit and swallowed it without leaving a single piece of bark. Ha ha ha! Su Yan looked up at the bloody world and laughed loudly. His laughter was filled with misery and hope. He laughed and said, "The heavens haven't forsaken me. The heavens truly haven't forsaken me." The medicinal efficacy of the divine blood fruit had begun to take effect. Su Yan's body was dried up like a dying river that could sink at any moment. When the exuberant life essence sprinkled into the dried-up river, his broken corporeal body glowed with radiance, emitting vitality. So painful! Su Yan was in agony as he hugged his head. It wasn't because the medicinal efficacy of the divine blood fruit was strong. It was because Su Yan's body was in a terrible state. Under the cleansing of the divine blood fruit's energy, his entire body was on the verge of breaking apart. He hugged his head and trembled. The excruciating pain assaulted his mind, making him feel like his body and mind were being torn apart. After an unknown period of time, the excruciating pain finally lessened. At the same time, Su Yan's body recovered some energy. Su Yan suddenly got up and sat down cross-legged. He only had one thought in his heart: to survive and recover. Wong, the heaven-mending art began to circulate. Su Yan seemed to have turned into a divine phoenix that came back from the dead. Under the guidance of the heaven-mending art, the medicinal efficacy of the divine blood fruit began to boil. It was like a cauldron of medicine for the human body, crazily flowing through Su Yan's limbs and bones. Half a day later, his body recovered a lot of vitality. Although the healing speed was very slow and the effects of the divine blood fruit were relatively strong, this divine blood fruit tree had only been around for a short period of time. Overall, its medicinal efficacy was somewhat weak. If it were a mature divine blood fruit, one would be enough. At night, Su Yan's body burned with the light of life. He constantly guided the energy of the god blood fruit to nourish his terrible body. On the morning of the second day, the life force in Su Yan's body began to flourish. However, his injuries were too great. His internal organs were all cracked, and most of the bones in his body were broken. There was not a single place on his body that was intact. His wounds continued to heal, but some of the wounds on his body were so bad that they caused the wounds that Su Yan had just healed to suddenly crack open. A sharp pain attacked Su Yan's soul. Blue veins popped out on his forehead. It was like a star had smashed into him. Su Yan's spirit and will were about to collapse. Puff! He coughed out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale. The severity of his wounds made Su Yan realize that it was impossible for him to recover like this. His condition would only worsen. He took out a silver phoenix hairpin and opened his spatial treasure. The quasi-saint medicines and king medicines had been used up long ago. Su Yan pulled Iron Rooster and Tai Baokai out. They haven't woken up yet. Su Yan knew he was in deep trouble. Their situation was also very bad. If he couldn't find a healing treasure, the consequences would be dire. The 3 of them would slowly exhaust themselves. Su Yin found some medicinal liquid in the spatial treasure. He drank some and applied some to his wounds. Sure enough, the medicinal liquid was quite effective. It helped Su Yin relieve his pain. After doing all this, his condition improved a lot. His face regained some color. I'm going to the sixth ominous ground to search for the yin-yang remnant vein. Su Yin clenched his fists. He felt that there might be something in the sixth ominous ground. His intuition told him that it should be there. Even if he could find a small part of it, it would be enough for the three of them to survive. Su Yin put the Tai Bao Kai and Iron Rooster into his spatial treasure. His palms suddenly landed on the broken spear in his chest. He gritted his teeth and pulled it out. The pain made Su Yin stagger and almost fall to the ground. It really hurts. I don't know how Bamboo Moon survived when she was blocked by the blood spear. Su Yin muttered to himself. He was a little absent-minded when he recalled the time on Earth. Then he clenched his fists and looked around. He found that he was already in the depths of the sixth ominous ground. This was good news. However, the surroundings were filled with broken arrays, and the earth vein energy was rather unstable. This gave Su Yin a headache. If he wanted to charge in, he would have to spend a lot of time. I can't waste any more time. Let's go. Su Yin held the great Tao origin brush and began to explore the depths of the sixth ominous ground. To find the yin-yang remnant vein, without a target, it would be impossible to find it. Su Yin had to figure out the layout of this place as soon as possible. Only then could he determine whether there was a remnant vein here. Fortunately, I have the chaotic battle spear. I can't lift the immortal iron rod now. Su Yin's primordial spirit held the great Tao origin brush and the chaotic battle spear in his other hand. With this item protecting him, ordinary killing arrays would not be able to withstand the chaotic battle spear's power. Just like that, Su Yin began to search aimlessly. The changes in the sixth ominous ground attracted a lot of attention. News kept spreading and caused discussions among the cultivators of various races. I heard that the Ancestral Hall and the Fiend Realm paid a huge price to hire many array masters. The reward is amazing. They're really going all out. They want to turn the entire sixth ominous ground upside down. Madman, Su can be considered a legend of our younger generation. If I die, the three factions will pay a huge price to find my corpse. My life will not be wasted. Someone thought, you? It's good enough that a woman can cry for you. Don't even think about it. It had been 3 days and 3 nights, but there was still no news of Madman Su's corpse. Some forces were suspicious. Could it be that Madman Su was still alive? Everyone knew that he had used up all his resources. The chances of him surviving were very slim. Ha ha ha. However, in the depths of the ninth ominous ground, a figure covered in blood burst out laughing. He laughed for a long time. Su Yin had entered a bone-chilling snowy region. The temperature here was many times colder than the snowy region on the bipolar star. He was shivering and was in danger of being frostbitten. Su Yin stepped on the white snowy ground in this snowy region. Each of his footprints was stained with blood. He found some frozen corpses here. These were the corpses of experts who died in the last era. They were relatively well preserved. He frantically searched the area and explored the terrain. Want to find the ancestral vein? Even if someone knew the correct location, it was almost impossible to find him. Precious medicine. Su Yin rushed forward. He found many precious medicines in this snowy region. They were all nurtured in this special climate. Snow Jade Lotus. Joy appeared in his eyes. He had found a precious, ancient medicine. Even though it was not a quasi-divine medicine, this type of precious medicine was extremely suitable for healing injuries. This Snow Jade Lotus had already produced 9 lotus seeds, and each seed could heal injuries. Su Yin ate one. It was cold in his mouth, but when it entered his stomach, it was cool and refreshing. These medicinal properties were very suitable for healing injuries. Su Yin ate 3 of them in one go. The essence blood in his body was abundant and could resist the temperature here. As time passed, Su Yin's qi and blood became stronger. His damaged body was burning like a furnace. He was pleasantly surprised. His injuries were getting better. Even the pain was alleviated. Su Yin quickly took out the lotus seeds and stuffed them into the Baokai and Miser's mouths. They still had weak life force in their bodies. Now, under the nourishment of the snow jade lotus, their life force began to grow stronger. Su Yin did not stay here for long. He quickly crossed the snowy region. His speed was much faster than before. After searching for a long time, Su Yin finally concluded that the snowy region's space was severely damaged. It should be an ancient calamity that caused the snowy region to be torn apart. Now, only a small continent was left. In the end, Su Yin found a fiery domain world with a blazing temperature on the other side of the continent. This made him ecstatic. He had found the right place. The ancestral vein was hidden here. Su Yin finished searching the two regions and used the Great Tao origin brush to carve a terrain map. He deciphered it for half a day. Finally, he confirmed the most likely direction and rushed there. I hope I can succeed. Su Yin stood on a short mountain where not even a blade of grass grew. He took a deep breath and stomped his feet on the ground. The entire short mountain rumbled and cracked open with a kacha-kacha. However, the cracked hill was like a cracked golden treasure. It emitted a blazing light. Found it! Su Yin was excited. He saw the light of hope in a hopeless situation. His eyes flashed with excitement and desire. He had finally found his destination. A section of the yin-yang ancestral vein was sealed below. It was like a burning yin-yang furnace. It emitted waves of the great Tao that were as deep as the sea. It was accompanied by an extremely vigorous energy source. This was the ancestral vein that everyone longed for. The great Daozu vein, the yin-yang ancestral vein, had a special effect. It nourished the body and replenished the yin and yang energies. Now, it was in front of Su Yin. It gushed out a vast amount of energy, but it did not leak out. I need to recover. I need to break through. Chapter 512. In this terrain where the yin and yang energies converged, it was like an underground immortal cave. Great Tao immortal mists rose, and countless strands of auspicious light flowed. The underground world surged with unparalleled divine might. Although it was only a small portion of the damaged veins, the yin-yang ancestral vein was magnificent. A complete great Tao dragon vein was enough for a peak power to squander for countless years. This damaged vein was like a small ocean that gushed out tide-like spirit liquid. It was surrounded by yin and yang energies and resounded with yin and yang Tao sounds. This was the great Daozu vein, powerful to an unimaginable degree. With the yin and yang energies fused, it was like a primal chaos ancestral vein that emitted the fluctuations of creation. This dragon vein could be said to have stolen the creation of the universe and evolved to this stage after a long period of time. It contained an unimaginable amount of yin and yang energies. It had a powerful replenishing effect on the human body. If one absorbed the yin-yang ancestral vein's energy for a long period of time, their physique would slowly transform. In short, the yin-yang ancestral vein was extremely beneficial to the physical body. When Su Yan's severely injured body fell into the ancestral vein, the massive amount of yin and yang energies converged on his flesh shell. It was like Su Yan had eaten a great tonic. Ha ha ha! He laughed loudly. As the massive amount of treasured liquid penetrated his damaged body, it glowed as it rapidly healed. The yang energy of heaven and the yin energy of earth. The combination of the two was equivalent to the product of creation, giving birth to all living things. It could be said that the yin-yang ancestral vein was very suitable for Su Yan's path. It was very suitable for the cultivation of the initial sutra. Enveloped by the yin and yang energies, Su Yin felt like he had turned into the universe. One could only imagine the importance of the yin-yang ancestral veins. Su Yin had even entered the source of the damaged veins to cultivate. With every breath, his damaged body glowed and his shattered organs healed. Even his damaged potential was nourished by the yin and yang qi. Everything began to heal. Although the speed was a little slow, cultivating an yin-yang ancestral vein for a few days was enough for Su Yin to recover. While Su Yin was absorbing the yin-yang ancestral veins, spiritual liquid, the dragon totem was also awakened. It was also absorbing. The golden totem glowed as a small dragon was faintly discernible. As it absorbed the yin-yang ancestral veins energy, the dragon totem was rapidly recovering. Su Yin estimated that the dragon totem would also benefit greatly. It might even continue to evolve. Bang bang. At this time, Su Yan's spatial treasure opened, and Tai Baokai and Tai Rooster fell into the ancestral vein. Their bodies seemed to have gained intelligence, and it didn't take long for them to start burning. The Baokai woke up and shook its body. It gulped down the energy of the yin-yang remnant meridians in large mouthfuls. Soon after, it was shaken and its panda eyes widened. It hadn't expected to encounter such a good thing right after waking up. This was the legendary yin-yang ancestral meridians. GAGA. This energy was very suitable for him. Back then, he had been cultivating under the yin-yang river. However, the yin-yang river's effect was definitely inferior to the yin-yang ancestral veins. Now, under the nourishment of the yin-yang ancestral vein, the miser's aura was rapidly increasing. His entire body lay dormant in the ancestral vein source, crazily absorbing the yin and yang qi. Su Yan sat cross-legged inside. In just one day, Su Yan's injuries had improved by more than half. His dried-up blood essence had also surged, and his wounds had healed considerably. He was very excited. His injuries were almost completely healed, and Su Yan even reckoned that he would take this opportunity to break through. Cultivate. I'm going to break through. Su Yan's eyes were filled with a terrifying, ominous glint. He was breathing, and his body was sometimes like a furnace and sometimes like a snowy region. Su Yan didn't feel the slightest bit of pain. He was once again being nourished by the yin and yang qi of heaven and earth. All kinds of divine energy gathered in his flesh shell, and the yin and yang blended to give birth to a substance of fortune, which surged into Su Yan's body. Crackle, crackle. All the broken bones in his body had healed. His body was vibrating with powerful fluctuations like a yin and yang furnace, absorbing the yin and yang qi. The Baokai had also recovered. Its fat body contained the yin and yang qi. Buzz! An ancient flag floated out. The banners of demons floated above the Baotsai's head. This ancient flag, which was full of mythical colors, actually dropped down on its own. Colorful beams of light wrapped around the Baotsai's body. These beams of light were very special. They were like beams of light from prehistoric times. Each beam of light looked like a huge shadow that was suffocating. Baokai, can you control the banners of demons now? Su Yan was stunned. This was a supreme killing weapon. If the Baokai could control the banners of demons, even the Divine King might not be able to suppress them. Hearing this, the Baokai said excitedly, "When I was reviving the banners of demons, I found the method to activate the banners of demons and touch the imprint of inheritance. The imprint of inheritance of the demon realm sovereigns." Su Yan turned pale with fright. Legend had it that the banners of demons contained the essence of the demon realm's inheritance. It was controlled by the demon realm sovereigns generation after generation. Every demon realm sovereign would leave the inheritance in the banners of demons. In other words, the banners of demons contained the crystallization of the demon realm's strongest bloodline for 1,000,000 years. The value of the banners of demons was immeasurable. The value of the inheritance might even surpass the value of the banners of demons. But now the Baokai could open the imprint of inheritance. This made Su Yan's emotions surge. If the Baokai could use the banners of demons to prove the great Tao, it would definitely be very terrifying. It should not be inferior to the most powerful star realm sovereigns of the ancient star. I want to give it a try and see if I can charge up. If I can control the banners of demons at any time. Although I can't unleash my strongest power, I can still control the banners of demons as I wish. The Baokai let out a fierce voice. It had been too miserable during this period of time. It had been hunted down until there was no way out. If they could all cross over to the great Tao realm, There would be no need for them to fear the Sun Dome and the others. They could totally do whatever they wanted in the divine spiritual mountain range. Swoosh! The banners of demons entered the space between the Bout-sized brows. The Bout-sized aura slowly sank into a deep slumber. It wanted to merge with the banners of demons in its slumber. It felt that there was a very high chance of it charging into the great Tao realm. There should be quite a number of sovereign's imprints among the banners of demons. I wonder which sovereign's imprint will the Baokai obtain? Su Yin mumbled in his heart. Can it obtain 3 to 5 sovereign's imprints? This should be very difficult, right? However, Su Yin had a premonition that it was unknown how many sovereign's imprints the Baokai could obtain. The sovereign of the demon realm was definitely at the sovereign level. Could it be even stronger? This was also an unknown. Su Yin didn't dare to waste any time. Although the number 6 ominous land was dangerous, they should be able to find this place. Su Yin didn't forget about the mysterious mystical sect cultivator who had set up the killing trap in the super treasure trove back then. Maybe he would also make a move. The miser also sank into a deep slumber. Just like before, it turned into a pupa and absorbed the yin and yang qi on its own. It was unknown what domain the miser would evolve into when it came out of seclusion. 3 days and 3 nights passed, and Su Yin had recovered. His treasured body was shining, and his battle physique was glowing. When he recovered, Su Yin felt that he seemed to have become a little stronger. This made him very surprised. Since he had already cultivated to this domain, it was already very impressive to be able to become a little stronger. It should be the danger I encountered during this period that stimulated some of my potential. More importantly, the energy of the yin and yang remnant veins is very special. Su Yin muttered inwardly as he continued to absorb the yin and yang qi. This kind of energy contains special effects and could be considered a great tonic for the human body. It cleansed Su Yan's body layer after layer. His body was full and sparkling, emitting a divine radiance. Su Yin stood at the peak of the domain. The vast essence blood in his body rumbled. When Su Yan's battle physique awakened to its strongest domain, the terrifying energy flow was about to tear apart the great Tao and seize supreme strength. Boom! Su Yan's entire body was emitting terrifying waves of energy. He was trying to break through, and he had long since noticed this shackle. This was a great treasure that originated from the body. As long as Su Yin accumulated enough, he would be able to break through this domain in one go. At the same time, Su Yin gained a new understanding of the human body. Under the state of yin and yang, it was as if the heaven and earth were converging and the sun and moon were fusing. The yin and yang powers complemented each other. Su Yan's body seemed to have turned into a Taiji diagram. Yin and yang surrounded each other, reinforcing and restraining each other. Su Yin found that his body was like a primordial chaos. It was very narrow, and his power couldn't spread further. This was the limitation of the domain. Only by breaking through all of this could he open a new chapter of cultivation. Let's begin. I have to speed up. It definitely won't give up on searching for me. Su Yin mumbled to himself. The essence blood in his body surged as he began to break through the domain in all aspects according to his own understanding. He needed a certain amount of time. This was a comprehensive evolution. With the help of the yin-yang ancestral veins energy, Su Yin could relax and use all his strength to break through the bottleneck of the realm, reaching a perfect state of climbing the new domain. Su Yan's speculation was correct. The Ancestral Hall's forces were very angry. They never found Su Yan's body and even suffered a lot of casualties during the search. What did you say? The Ancestral Hall's expression changed when they heard the news. It's true. Madman Su is still alive in the 6th ominous land. The demon domain sent a message. The Ancestral Hall's people were surprised and happy. They were surprised because Su Yan's life was so tenacious. They were happy because Su Yin was still alive. What a good Su Yin. Ha ha, he didn't disappoint me. An Ancestral Hall expert was overjoyed. He's still alive. Ha 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 ha. Su Yan's injuries are so serious. He won't be able to get up even if we give him half a month. We must dig him out and bring him back to the Ancestral Hall. We can't fail this time. The Ancestral Hall even sent more experts to ensure that nothing went wrong. The demon domain was also filled with experts. They were willing to pay any price for the banners of demons. As long as they could find the banners of demons, everything would be worth it. In short, the sixth ominous land was even more dangerous. Su Yin, who even the ancient ancestor wanted, and the banners of demons, who could make the demon domain pay any price, were both crazy. They sent news back to their clans and requested for a large number of killing machines to be sent over. Find him, we must find him. Even if we have to overturn the sixth ominous land, we must find Su Yin. Chapter 5:13. Something big must have happened in ominous land number 6. Day after day passed. This place was not calm at all. Another group of experts arrived from vicious land number 6, and they even caused quite a commotion. All types of killing weapons were operating in the air, and layers of killing formations were activated one after another in all directions. Every killing formation was expensive, enough to trap and kill a great Dao Realm expert. There were more than a dozen of them placed in the surroundings, sealing the entire ominous land number 6. Now, not even a fly could fly out, and outsiders could not enter the forbidden area. The experts who were paying attention to the changes in ominous land number 6 all paled. Were they trying to trap a god? Could it be that Su Yin was not dead? Over 100 experts have gathered. Some people were terrified, and their faces turned pale. What kind of lineup was this? Were they here to capture Su Yin, or did they find a supreme treasure in ominous land number 6? Some people sighed. Su Yin had really made a name for himself. They reckoned that Su Yin was still alive. Otherwise, the Ancestral Hall and the Demon Domain would not have caused such a huge commotion. They had already turned the entire ominous land number 6 into a tiger's den. Heavens, Xian is here. The Purple Jade King is here too. His injuries are recovering too quickly. He probably ate some healing medicine. The two of them came with killing intent. That means that Madman Su is definitely not dead. He's actually still alive. This is unbelievable. Xian and the Purple Jade King made a comeback. For a time, the boundless forbidden area was in an uproar. Someone received news that the Purple Jade King was highly regarded by the old ancestor, who used healing medicine to help him stand up in a short period of time. The two of them had almost died under Su Yan's fist. Now that they had made a comeback, they were emitting terrifying killing intent. The news that Su Yan was still alive shocked Xian. His desire to kill Su Yan burned even more fiercely. Xian's arrival made the Ancestral Hall very unhappy. It was unknown how Xian got the news. The entire ominous land number 6 was filled with killing intent, about to pierce through the starry sky. The various regions trembled frequently. Countless ancient formations were torn apart. After all, with such a large lineup, opening up ominous land number 6 was not difficult for them. Now, they had already charged into the depths. Danger was approaching Su Yin. Some cultivators had already discovered the existence of the snow region. However, it was very difficult to find the yin-yang ancestral vein. It was not something that could be done with numbers alone. One had to be familiar with the terrain to find clues or overturn the entire Danger Zone 6. Dao sounds came from the remnant Great Dao Meridian. A blazing and resplendent figure was sitting cross-legged. It was as if a young divine king was sitting cross-legged in the air. Yin and yang energies lingered around his body. As he breathed in and out, endless yin and yang energies gathered within his body to nourish Su Yan's precious body. With each passing day, Su Yan's aura improved by leaps and bounds. This was because the path of his breakthrough had already been opened. Under the nourishment of the massive amount of remnant veins of the great Tao, Su Yan's body blazed so fiercely that it was about to combust. Within his physical body, potential rumbled, erupting like a tsunami. His physical body was like a condensed chaotic universe. Outside of this chaotic universe, there was an even vaster space and treasures. Su Yan had accumulated an endless amount of resources. After countless breakthroughs, Su Yan sent out layers of terrifying spiritual intent. He wanted to become stronger, tear apart all obstacles, and kill his way to the great Tao. Rumble. Deafening sound waves constantly exploded within his body. All the pores on his body spewed out resplendent light beams. This was the sound of the potential within his body shattering. His physical body was like a small universe that was expanding layer by layer. In the end, it would encompass the entire world. Even Su Yan's heart was filled with an ancient aura of time. It was like a condensed Su Yan sitting cross-legged in the primordial chaos, covered in dazzling Tao marks. It was like an ancient deity that was about to cross the passage of time. This was Su Yan's innate ability. It was growing stronger as Su Yan became stronger. It even absorbed a large amount of yin and yang energies during the process. It would be born as Su Yan broke through. The dragon totem finally stopped absorbing. It slowly calmed down and released a prehistoric and ominous light. At this moment, Su Yan's hairs stood on end. It was like a giant was standing in the river of history, overlooking the river of time, looking into the future, staring at Su Yan. The world seemed to be destroyed. Su Yan saw an awe-inspiring scene. It was a true dragon, terrifying beyond compare. The dragon's body seemed to pierce through the vast river of time, stretching into the future and crossing over to this era. This dragon was so resplendent that it could be called a great Tao immortal dragon. It filled the world with endless heavenly might. Its existence caused the entire world to tremble and the great Tao of the universe to wail. This was a kind of strength, an unimaginable strength that was bursting forth. This was strength that suddenly came. Su Yan felt as if everything had been pierced through. Even the universe of the future had been torn apart. This strength was so strong that it seemed to be able to push through the past, present, and future. It was like an eternal and indestructible giant that dominated the heavens. Everything was about to rise and fall beneath its feet. History was like a wave beside it. Su Yan's entire being became silent. From obtaining the dragon totem, to the dragon totem becoming stronger, to the first eruption of the dragon totem's strength, to now observing the dragon totem's magnificent figure. Su Yan was like watching a young, true dragon, growing up one level after another. Finally, it turned into a giant dragon that soared into the starry skies, looking down on the universe with disdain. The strength that spread out from its body was enough to push through any source of strength. Body like the universe. Su Yan's eyes suddenly widened. He had grasped onto the most important treasure of the mortal body. It was like a dragon was hibernating within his body, taking root and sprouting. Finally, it turned into a great tree that could block out all storms. This was an astonishing demonic phenomenon. It followed Su Yan's spine, passing through his entire back and rushing towards the top of his head. Su Yan's mortal body seemed to have turned into a Taiji diagram where yin and yang surrounded each other. At the moment when their auras merged, it was as if a great explosion had occurred in his body. He was about to break through the chaos and walk towards a great path. As he inhaled and exhaled, massive amounts of divine energy passed through his mortal body. Su Yan greedily absorbed the yin and yang qi. He had already completed all the accumulation, and now it was time for him to break through the great barrier. Who is that person? Why is he being entertained by the ancestral hall and the demonic region with such etiquette? I don't know. He's too old. I reckon he's lived for no less than 7,000 to 8,000 years. It's really a miracle that he could live until now at the Great Tao Realm. At Ominous Land number 6, the surrounding cultivators were all shocked. An old man who was about to enter the ground appeared here. Old skin was falling off his body. Although he looked lifeless, there was still exuberant life essence seeping out from his body. This meant that this old cultivator must have swallowed a rare, great medicine. However, there was a limit to a person's lifespan, and the mortal body had its limits as well. Even so, this old cultivator's mortal body still had the aura of death. Unless he could obtain a complete divine medicine and be reborn, he would be able to live another life. However, it was already very terrifying for a great Dao realm cultivator to be able to live for 10,000 years. It was almost impossible to find such a person among the peak factions. The older cultivators from the Ancestral Hall and the demonic region walked over and greeted him warmly. They respectfully addressed him as Grandmaster Qi Gao. Grandmaster Qi Gao? Some people were surprised when they heard this. The Ancestral Hall's experts addressed him as Grandmaster. This was an incredible title. His surname is Qi. They replied with some shock. Could he be from the Qi Min lineage? The surrounding cultivators were in an uproar. The Qi Min lineage was a relatively mysterious faction in the universe. In the universe, the ancestral grounds of this lineage were relatively hidden. However, there are also people who knew that the ancient Qi family specialized in the Qi Min lineage. This clan had a very high status in the universe. Even the peak factions did not want to provoke this clan. It was rumored that this clan had once produced an 8th grade Qi Min cultivator who was a terrifying existence comparable to a mighty figure. This clan was too special. No one would have thought that the Ancestral Hall and the demonic region could invite the Qi family's Grandmaster Qi Min. Moreover, he was an old monster who had lived for 7,000 to 8,000 years. In that case, the Qi Min's secret technique he grasped was definitely not simple. I only want the Qi Min secret technique. Qi Gao's voice was somewhat eerie and cold. It made some young people's hair stand on end. After all, this person had lived for too long. He belonged to the same era as their family's old ancestor. As long as Grandmaster can find him, not to mention the Qi Min's secret technique, our clan can take out a life-extending divine medicine, said the Ancestral Hall's expert. The demonic region's experts expressed that they could take it out as well. As long as they could find Su Yin, Qi Gao could even become their clan's esteemed guest. You can find him? A young man asked, somewhat doubtful. Hee. Is it difficult to find a Qi Min cultivator who only knows a little bit of martial arts? Qi Gao was full of confidence. He did not put Su Yin in his eyes at all. His tone surprised Yin Xian. Just like that, a group of people entered the depths of ominous land number 6. Qi Gao wandered around the depths a few times. Finally, his expression turned serious. He had entered the land of Yin Yang, and his emotions were somewhat out of control. Is there something wrong? The experts of the two great clans were surprised. Good lad. He can even find such a place. Seems like the inheritance he obtained is not simple. Qi Gao said in his heart. Then he shouted to them, dig out the little thief, and this place is mine. No problem. They did not hesitate. Not to mention one divine medicine. Even if it was 3, they would be willing to pay. The Tao Enlightening Sacred Land was also willing to pay. The Qi family had a high status in the universe. Since they had agreed, Qi Gao was not afraid that they would go back on their word. Deciphering the terrain was Qi Gao's weakness. However, he had lived for 7,000 to 8,000 years and had seen all kinds of dangerous terrains. This kind of terrain was not difficult for him at all. Yin Xian and the rest waited patiently. Qi Gao deduced for a few hours and finally locked onto the location. It's here. Qi Gao pointed at the place where Su Yin had escaped. He was abnormally excited. This was a remnant Great Dao vein, the Yin Yang ancestral vein that was very suitable for prolonging one's life. When Qi Gao opened up the terrain here, a divine light emerged from the ground. Yin Xian was pleasantly surprised. He did not expect Qi Gao to dig out Su Yin so quickly. Boom! It was also at this moment that the 10 experts of the Ancestral Hall rushed out. They brought out 10 ancient black mountains and suppressed the surrounding area. Fellow Taoists, I'm sorry. Su Yan's life is ours. We can give up everything else. I only want Su Yan. Chapter 514. Bastard. The faces of those from the demon region changed drastically. Once the matter of the banners of demons was exposed, it would be strange if the Ancestral Hall gave it up. The banners of demons was a supreme treasure that controlled the great Tao source of the demon region. Once it fell into the hands of the Ancestral Hall, the consequences would be unimaginable. They did not expect that the Ancestral Hall would suddenly play tricks and throw out 10 black mountains. This was a set of special matrices. Their auras intertwined and turned into a super great path domain that sealed off the domain. Its defensive power was extremely terrifying. This thing was quite precious, even in the Ancestral Hall. The 10 Black Mountains could block the Immortals for a while. The time it took for the Ancestral Hall's people to break the array should be enough to capture Su Yin alive. Isn't the Ancestral Hall going too far? Xian's face was gloomy. The people of the Ancestral Hall were also angry. Where do they place him? At the same time, he was puzzled. Why was the Ancestral Hall in such a hurry to capture Su Yin alive? What secrets were hidden on him? Break the array for me, quickly. The people from the Demon region were furious. They did not hesitate and rushed up to attack the 10 Black Mountains. However, the 10 Black Mountains were extremely strong. They guarded this place, interweaving array marks and sealing the field. A group of experts who rushed up were blocked. It was as if they had attacked an immortal divine mountain. They were so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. I hope Grandmaster Qi Gao can help. A rock expert asked Qi Gao for help. With his mastery of array Dao, it should not be difficult to break this killing array, right? I can't break this array either. It can only be opened by force. Qi Gao's tone was gloomy. His heart was cold. He was very unhappy with the Ancestral Hall's actions. Wasn't this getting rid of the donkey after it had left the millstone? However, Qi Gao felt that with Su Yan's combat power, it would not be easy for the experts of the Ancestral Hall to trap him. First of all, Su Yan's combat power was not to be mentioned. Now, with the help of the remnant Great Dao, he felt that Su Yan had recovered. Even wanting to suppress a mystical gate cultivator here with the remnant Great Dao, this was even more difficult. He felt that since Su Yan could open the terrain dragon vein here, Su Yan's attainments in the mystical gate were also very high. This made Qi Gao's heart was burning. As long as he could obtain Su Yan's inheritance, he might be able to rush into the 7th grade mystical gate realm. Mystical gate cultivators. Once he stepped into this realm, his value would not be inferior to the Divine King. Heavens, this is a remnant Great Dao, and even the various clans. The heavens are helping me. This ancestral Great Dao is very useful to little ancestor. We must get it. An old expert of the Ancestral Hall was wild with joy. The remnant Great Dao was very important. It would be of great help to Zhu Anbang. However, he remembered that he had promised Qi Gao before. His face turned ugly. This old thing really knows how to talk. He wants to take the remnant Great Dao for himself? Look, Su Yin is here. A middle-aged man opened his eyes wide in anger. Zhu Feijia was emitting resplendent killing light. He was staring at a young man who was sitting cross-legged in the remnant Great Dao. Zhu Feijia's cultivation was extremely high. He almost touched the realm of gods. He was even one of Zhu Yong's sons. He was also Zhu Yong, Er's uncle. Zhu Yong, Er's death was hard for Zhu Feijia to let go. It was said that Zhu Yongbo was so angry that he fell ill. Not good. He is breaking through. He seems to be breaking through. Another old expert's expression changed. He discovered that Su Yan's life force was exuberant and terrifying. He faintly felt that he was going to break through an even stronger barrier. How is this possible? The experts of the 10 ancestral halls shuddered. Could it be that Su Yin had always been in the quasi-Dao realm? This made them tremble. Someone thought of something and said in a trembling voice, could it be that Dao Zhu Yong gave the Dao body pill formula to Su Yin? Don't talk nonsense. Zhu Feijia almost exploded in anger. He glared at the person who spoke and berated. Are you dreaming? If he is in the quasi-Dao realm, I will chop off his head right now. Also, how could Zhu Yong be so foolish as to give out the Dao body pill formula? They thought about it carefully and found it to be true. If Su Yin could really fight and kill the Peng race's overlord at the quasi-Dao realm, then he was truly heaven-defying. He definitely had accumulated the foundation of a heavenly supreme. In the future, he would definitely be able to seal the title of heavenly supreme. I feel that he is getting stronger and stronger. Someone was shocked. They discovered that the energy source hidden in Su Yan's body was becoming more and more shocking. I will capture this person alive. Zhu Feijia's aura was cold. He took out a colorful net. It was as if it was weaved by divine chains. The moment it was taken out, it seemed to lock the entire Great Tao remnant vein. This was a treasure refined by Zhu Yanghua. Although it was not the Divine King's weapon, once this kind of divine net was released, even gods would be bound for a while. Before Zhu Feijia came, he deliberately took this divine net with him, hoping to bind Su Yin and bring him back to the ancestral hall. Evil creature, you have escaped for so long. It's time for you to be executed. When Zhu Feijia saw Su Yin, who was in deep seclusion, he looked up to the sky and laughed. In an instant, he took out the divine net. The divine net covered the sky and fell from the sky. It was like a huge net that covered the sky. The moment it contracted, space sank. Endless destructive power furiously swept towards Su Yin, who was in seclusion. Su Yin opened his eyes. When they broke in, Su Yin had already sensed them. Looking at the divine net falling from the sky, Su Yin sat motionless. However, his primordial spirit had left his body. During this time, his golden primordial spirit had been nourished by the yin and yang energies. Its soul energy was strong and full, and Buddhist light shone everywhere. It was like a great Buddha had filled the void. The moment his primordial spirit grasped the great Tao origin brush, the silent remnant vein of the great Tao began to boil. An unimaginable strength of the great Tao surged out and blocked the divine net. At the same time, the aura within Su Yan's body rose sharply. His absorption speed surged by a large margin. Breakthrough! Su Yan roared in his heart. The moment the remnant vein of the great Tao blocked the divine net, Zhu Feijia and the others instantly rushed over. They erupted with their strongest combat strength and took out all sorts of secret treasures to suppress the surging remnant vein of the great Tao. Kill him. Don't give him any chance. Cripple him. Zhu Feijia and the others madly rushed over. They were well prepared. All sorts of killing weapons filled the air and suppressed the power of the remnant vein of the great Tao. Boom! This underground space of the dragon vein was about to explode. The 10 great elites rushed over and evolved all kinds of great divine abilities to bombard the young man, sitting cross-legged in the void. Breakthrough! Su Yan's eyes were red. He had accumulated countless foundations, and in an instant, he went berserk. A huge explosion occurred inside Su Yan's corporeal body. It was as if the chaos was collapsing and all living things were being born. A terrifying aura pervaded the air. Su Yan's precious body was majestic by a large margin. His body was like the universe, his bones were like mountains, and his blood was like a galaxy. The yin and yang energies blended and gushed out supreme profundities. It explained that the Taiji gave birth to the yin and yang. The yin and yang gave birth to the 4 divisions, and the 4 divisions gave birth to the 8 trigrams. Su Yan's corporeal body was unsealed. Tens of millions of strands of golden light were born. It contained the power of all living things in the universe and interweaved into an incomparably strong heavenly power. Roar! Su Yan looked up to the sky and roared. Tens of millions of strands of blood essence light gushed out from his body and split the sky. With a loud roar, the space exploded. It was as if a vast ocean had burst its banks, and heaven and earth were rumbling. That was a supreme power gushing out. Golden ripples swept out in all directions like a mountain torrent. The roar caused the corporeal bodies of the 10 great experts to tremble, and all of them were about to shatter. There were even people who coughed up blood. That was because the power was too strong, grabbing their hearts. It was as if the roar wanted to shatter their souls. Could it be that he really broke through? Even Zhu Feijia was a little fearful. Su Yan had really crossed over from the quasi-Tao realm to the great Tao realm. This made him tremble in disbelief. At this moment, Su Yan was like a golden god rising up. A demonic aura was born with him, causing this entire world to tremble. Boom! This roar was enough to split the world apart. Golden ripples filled the sky, and it was as if tens of millions of golden mountains were smashing down in all directions. The two experts who had coughed up blood earlier were sent flying. Their corporeal bodies trembled, and blood spurted out from their pores. Quick, join forces! The 10 great experts were terrified. Facing Su Yin, he was like an invincible madman who suppressed the heavens. The instant he charged over, he could be said to be a murderous weapon in human form. The aura that surged over was too terrifying. Boom! The ancestral phoenix wings instantly opened. It was as if a raging sea had exploded. Terrifying ripples rushed out in all directions, and the speed was fast to the extreme. What was terrifying was that Su Yin had just gone crazy, and he had already sacrificed one of them. The ancestral phoenix wings directly tore him into pieces. Quick, retreat, retreat. The 9 great experts knew their own limits. He could kill the Peng race's overlord of the Quasi-Dao realm. So what qualifications did they have to fight to the death with Su Yin? No, we can't leave. The remnant great Dao vein has awakened and suppressed this place. Fear appeared in Zhu Feijia's heart. Su Yin was terrifying enough, but he grasped the power of the remnant great Dao vein. This made the 9 great experts feel as if they had been struck by lightning, and they were in chaos. Kill! Su Yin released a long roar. He threw himself over, his offensive power exceptional and ferocious. He used lightning methods, activating the immortal iron staff. He smashed over crazily, and even this divine net was blasted flying by Su Yin. All of you, hand over your lives. Su Yin was like the ruler of this place. He brandished the immortal iron staff. This immortal iron staff became more and more resplendent, filled with unmatched strength. It smashed over, and there were experts who released sounds of fear. Half of their bodies collapsed. Su Yin rushed up alone. Not even the remnant great Dao vein could seal the vicious energy within his body. Dong! The immortal iron staff shone, smashing down strike after strike. Endless divine radiance rushed out, attacking the ancestral palace experts. Even the Dao weapon was blasted apart. Terrifying light rushed up, blasting apart a veteran expert. Su Yan's aura was too ferocious. No killing formation could stop it. He used the immortal iron staff to open a path, attacking until the great Dao dragon vein trembled. The group of experts were powerfully killed one after another. Ah! Zhu Feijia screamed miserably, feeling incomparable regret. Why did he have to lay down a killing formation? Why did he have to stop the experts behind him? Why did he have to do this? It was to the extent where, right now, the Fiend region experts were all excited. It was because the 10 black great mountains shattered one after another. I hope Su Yin is still alive, that the banners of demons haven't been discovered. Chapter 515. A large group of elites charged into the Yin-Yang remnant meridians, especially those from the demon region. They were eager to know the current situation of the banners of demons. How can Su Yin be so easy to kill? I'd better wait and think of a way to take away the great Dao remnant meridians. Qi Gao didn't charge at the front, but he glanced at the back of the group and confirmed his guess. The great Dao remnant meridians were indeed here. Great Dao Dragon Vein. This is the great Dao Dragon Vein. We've encountered the legendary great Dao Dragon Vein. The experts from various clans who had barged into this place also seemed to have gone crazy. Their eyes were red. The legendary Yin-Yang remnant meridians were actually here. This made them feel that it was inconceivable. How did Su Yin find such a precious place? Ha ha ha! Yin Xian laughed loudly. This was the legendary great Dao remnant meridians, which were of great help to those in the great Dao realm. He really didn't expect the great Dao remnant meridians to be hidden in the 6th ominous land. Su Yin is really our lucky star. The Purple Jade King also laughed loudly. Although the Ancestral Hall and the Demon Region wouldn't give up so easily, the Purple Jade King was here after all. It shouldn't be a problem for him to cultivate here for a period of time, right? Not good. Quickly come and see. Someone shouted loudly, warning all the elites who had barged in because he saw some corpses. They were all elites who had barged into the Great Tao remnant meridians just now. The elites looked around, and then their faces turned pale. How long had it been since the 10 great elites of the ancestral hall barged in here? But they were almost all wiped out. Could there be other elites here? Save me. Zoophagia let out a sorrowful roar, causing the space to shatter. The dozens of elites who had barged and looked over, and their expressions changed instantly. It was as if there was a fierce dragon hibernating in the space, releasing cold, killing intent from its body. It raised its palm and killed Zoophagia. Zoophagia was killed by Su Yan's palm, and even his primordial spirit was crushed into pieces. Su Yan, the Violet Jade King's complexion changed. He felt that the current Su Yan was somewhat terrifying. The strength of the aura in his body far exceeded his expectations. How long had it been since they last met? How could he feel that Su Yan had become a completely different person? The people of the demon realm also had ugly expressions. Su Yan must have used the remnant Great Tao Meridian to heal his wounds, and even his strength had improved by leaps and bounds. This was not the outcome they wanted to see. Boom! As these powerhouses felt their scalps tingle, the remnant Great Tao Meridian suddenly erupted with endless killing intent. Su Yan had grasped the energy of the remnant Great Tao Meridian. As the remnant Great Tao Meridian rose and fell, millions upon millions of strands of killing intent gushed out. The entire dragon vein space was about to be destroyed, engulfing all the cultivators. At this moment, Su Yan rushed over, left hand holding the immortal iron staff, right hand holding the primal chaos war spear. Within the remnant Great Tao vein, Su Yan could be said to possess an inexhaustible source of energy. He erupted with his strongest state, restoring the might of his two supreme treasures to the pinnacle. No, some powerhouses were terrified. All of this happened too suddenly. The primal chaos war spear that was heading toward them rapidly enlarged. It was like a primal chaos mountain peak that reached the heavens, filled with fluctuations that could pierce through the primordial stars, accompanied by a primal chaos war spear. This spear was peerlessly terrifying. It locked down an area of space, enveloping 3 powerhouses. The primal chaos war spear tore through the air, looking down on everything with disdain. It was a terrifying scene. This spear was truly astonishing. One after another, the bodies of the powerhouses were pierced through. Their internal organs were torn apart by the primal chaos war spear, exploding into a bloody mist. On the other side, the immortal iron staff smashed over, causing heaven and earth to tremble. Surging energy surged out, and some powerhouses were smashed into a pile of meat paste. He broke through. Lunatic Su must have just stepped into the domain of the Great Tao realm. A demon race powerhouse let out a trembling voice. Even Yin Xian's face turned pale. Su Yan, who had killed the overlord of the rock race of the Quasi-Tao realm, was definitely a peak powerhouse in the domain of the Great Tao realm. Once this kind of character went on a killing spree, how many people would be able to stop his slaughter? In fact, they were even suppressed here with the remnant Great Tao Meridian, and their battle prowess was greatly reduced. Moreover, Su Yan had inexhaustible divine might. You guys came really quickly. Since you're here, then come over. Su Yan let out a cold shout. The battle blood in his body was boiling, and there was also fury surging within him. During this period of time, the successive tragic battles had caused Su Yan to hold back a ball of fire in his heart. Now, he had come out in full force. Whoa! A terrifying light flashed in Su Yan's eyes. The moment the martial path heavenly eye opened, the martial path fluctuations were grand and magnificent. Some powerhouse's eyes were even blinded. It was as if a martial god had emerged from Su Yan's eyes. You're arrogant. Yin Xian was furious. Even if Su Yan had grasped the remnant Great Tao Meridian, Yin Xian still didn't fear Su Yan. So what if he was strong? Could it be that he still had the strength to fight against him? Boom! Yin Xian raised his foot and stepped forward. This was a kind of crushing posture that was close to humiliating. Even now, Yin Xian still didn't admit that Su Yan was in the same realm as him. If he wanted to kill him, did he need to join forces with others? The answer was definitely impossible. Yin stepped into the sky, his aura swallowing the rivers and mountains. This foot was extremely heavy. The moment it smashed down, everyone could see that Su Yin was trampled to death by Yin foot. What a fast speed! However, Yin face turned gloomy. He turned his head and saw that the space was beginning to distort because it couldn't withstand Su Yan's strength. Get out of here quickly. Don't fight with Madman Su here. He can grasp the energy of the remnant Great Tao Meridian. It's too difficult to kill Su Yin here. Someone shouted to warn the people next to him, but he found that the group of people didn't start to move. These people felt a chill all over their bodies. It was as if a huge shadow had come from prehistoric times, filling up the space and pressing down on their heads, making them tremble. Boom! It was as if a pair of immortal swords had been unsheathed. They were sharp and peerless, splitting the sky, and an endless aura of sharpness descended. The ancestral phoenix wings erupted. It was like a cloud hanging from the sky, falling from the sky, just like that. It made a rock expert despair. They couldn't escape. The shadow that fell from the sky was like the ruler of this realm. Su Yin could dodge the speed of an existence like Yin when he was in the Quasi-Dao realm, let alone now that he had stepped into this realm. Regardless of whether it was his speed or strength, they couldn't be mentioned in the same breath. The moment the ancestral phoenix wings opened and closed, an expert was split in two by him. Kill! Su Yin roared. His battle strength soared, and he wanted to sacrifice all the cultivators who had barged in. Moreover, the two supreme treasures were taken out by Su Yin. A terrifying aura rippled, and the entire ancestral land was rippling with an endless source of destruction. This was a completely crushing stance. The experts who came all found that it was useless to have more people. Although they were all powerful in battle, the power of the great Tao domain that they could produce couldn't resist Su Yan's battle strength at all. They were even crushed by the energy of the remnant Great Tao vein here. Su Yin killed them like he was slaughtering chickens, making them despair. They never thought that Su Yin could control the energy of the remnant Great Tao vein. One expert after another died under his fist. This scene made Yin expression very ugly. He angrily rebuked, Su Yin, are you so afraid of me? If you have the ability, come and fight. What's the point of running away? Why are you in such a hurry? Wait here obediently for me to come and kill you. Su Yin looked coldly at Yin, then at the Purple Jade King, and replied coldly, and you, Purple Jade King, do you want to die first, or do you want to die first? You two can discuss it before you come back to me. You dare to humiliate me. The Purple Jade King was furious. He was also chasing after Su Yin, but even Yin couldn't do it, let alone him, the Purple Jade King. Su Yan's battle strength really made the Purple Jade King tremble. Could it be that this guy had just stepped into Great Tao realm? If this matter really spread, the consequences would be too serious. It would cause a terrifying earthquake, and perhaps Su Yin would be noticed by all the supreme beings. The land of the ancestral veins overflowed with the smell of blood. The sky fell and the earth cracked, and gods and ghosts cried out. Experts were sacrificed alive one after another by Su Yin. He showed no mercy and was like a demon god going on a killing spree here. We can't stop him. Think of a way to retreat. Many people were disturbed by the energy of the remnant Great Tao vein, and it was difficult for them to escape for a while. Su Yin used the energy of the remnant Great Tao vein to hunt them down openly, which made the group of experts so angry that they were about to vomit blood. How could they have imagined that this would be the outcome? Originally, they were standing in the shadows, the hunters. Now, the situation was completely reversed. Su Yin was using absolute strength to crush them. He had killed until his eyes turned red. These people were all the core forces of the peak forces. Killing even one of them was not a small loss. I wonder what's going on inside? There were many cultivators watching the battle outside, and the news of the appearance of a grandmaster of the occult sect also spread out. There are too many experts gathered here, and dozens of them have killed their way in. I wonder if they have found Su Yin. In fact, There are dozens of experts in the outer regions sealing off the domain to prevent Su Yin from escaping. If Su Yin can still escape like this, I think they might as well go home and drink milk. That's right. Unless Su Yin becomes a god, it's impossible for him to break out of this situation. Su Yin's safety attracted the attention of many people. Since the opening of the immortal spiritual mountain range until now, he had caused too much of a commotion. Now, his fame had spread throughout the vast starry sky, and he was almost a household name. Outside of the ancient Dao ground, Zhu Wenxiong and the others were waiting anxiously. This was especially true for the people from the demon realm. This matter was related to the banners of demons. A group of old demon gods couldn't sit still and wanted to hear the news as soon as possible. Look, they're coming out. At this moment, ominous land number 6 emitted a bloody light that soared to the sky. The smell of blood was too thick. The scene of a universe overlord falling was quite shocking. This was not just the fall of a universe overlord, but the experts who came and suffered heavy losses. Now, the dragon vein space was suddenly suppressed. The battle inside caused the space to collapse, causing all kinds of corpses to fly into the sky, followed by a waterfall of blood. A terrifying, murderous aura spread out. At this moment, Su Yan's aura was extremely frightening. It was as if he was a war god who rushed out from the abyss with an imposing aura. Kill! Su Yan's blood-stained hair fluttered behind him as he roared. Powerful ripples spread out, and some experts who had evolved universe domains to defend themselves were shattered by his roar. Their Dao domains were torn apart, and cracks appeared on their bodies. Boom! Chapter 516. The sky was filled with bloody light that surged in all directions and dyed the clouds in the sky red. The smell of blood was too strong. The resentment born from the death of a great Dao realm cultivator swept through the surroundings. Now, the 6th fearsome land had basically been cleared. This also led to the suffocating aura of the death of the powerful cultivators, causing the onlookers to tremble in fear. What happened in the remnant, Great Dao Meridian, just now? Why are there so many casualties? Someone asked in shock. They didn't think that Su Yin had the battle prowess to kill so many mighty masters of the universe. The onlookers were also scared. They felt that this scene was too bloody and tragic. Many people had died. Su Yin, now that you don't have the remnant Great Dao Meridian, let's see what you have to fight with us. Your time of death has arrived. The 6th fearsome land will be your burial ground. You won't live. A powerful cultivator from the demon region let out a roar of grief and indignation. The battle just now was too depressing. They couldn't unleash their full battle prowess. Otherwise, how could the result be so tragic? After all, they couldn't resist Su Yin. More than half of them were slaughtered by Su Yin in bloody ways. Were they saying, remnant Great Dao Meridian? There's a yin-yang dragon vein in the 6th fearsome land? The onlookers exclaimed. Legend had it that there was a yin-yang ancestral vein in the divine spiritual mountains. Its value might not be inferior to the great Daozu vein that was born in the most powerful life ancient planet. However, up until now, the various forces hadn't found a remnant Great Dao Meridian. Maybe it's true. Someone said with a trembling heart, Madman Su's injuries have healed. It must be because he escaped into the remnant Great Dao Meridian to heal his injuries. Also, don't forget that Madman Su is a mystical arts cultivator. He can control the energy of the Great Dao Meridian. Everyone here was shocked. They all knew that once a mystical arts cultivator appeared in the land of the Dragon Vein, they would definitely have super powerful battle prowess. After all, they could use their mystical arts to control the power of the Dragon Vein and attack strong enemies. Su Yin looked at Qi Gao coldly. He didn't expect Qi Gao to suppress the remnant Great Dao Meridian. Hee, Su Yin, after you die, I'll obtain your mystical arts inheritance. I've been looking forward to it for a long time. Qi Gao smiled sinisterly. He had stepped into the remnant Great Dao Meridian. He estimated that when he cut off the source of the remnant Great Dao Meridian, Su Yin would not be able to keep his life. Qi along with the remnant Great Dao Meridian. Chi, mystical arts cultivator and surpass Su Yin. In the distance, the sound of the armored cavalry exploded. It was as if a black torrent had passed through, and boundless murderous intent intertwined. Group after group of soldiers with powerful auras charged over. The people who came were all experts from the Ancestral Hall. Their speed was extremely fast as they charged towards Su Yin, emitting a cold, killing intent. Experts from the Demon Realm and Dao Brother Yin, please give our Ancestral Hall some face. A powerful Ancestral Hall rider coldly said, Su Yin is a remnant of the burial realm that was personally ordered by our ancient ancestor. Give us some face, and we only want Su Yin. We don't need anything else. Yin and Purple Jade didn't say anything. They were very unhappy in their hearts. Earlier, the Ancestral Hall secretly made a move and took the initiative. However, the result was a bit laughable. The 10 universe overlords all died in the Dragon Vein space. They didn't think that Su Yin was so easy to kill. Only a top overlord of the same level would be qualified to fight against Madman Su. Ha ha. Thank you, Dao Brother, for giving us face. Seeing that they didn't refute, the expert from the Ancestral Hall faced the sky and laughed. The incoming cavalry also released a divine light that pierced the sky. This was the revival of a substantial killing intent. The entire 6th ominous ground was overflowing with endless divine light. Everything began to boil around Su Yin. Even if Madman Su dies in battle, his name will still go down in history. Someone sighed. The experts from the great powers had surrounded Su Yin in the 6th ominous ground. They thought that Su Yin would suddenly die in battle. His life wouldn't have been in vain. Yes, so many experts from the 6th ominous ground have been mobilized. There are murderous weapons and ancient formations. Their goal is to trap Madman Su. The spectators shuddered. Just how terrifying was this murderous trap? Endless murderous intent engulfed all directions. This was truly a dragon's pool and a tiger's den. All of them were targeting one person. The spectators couldn't help but tremble while looking at Su Yin standing in the void. Could he still break out of this trap when it was time to hide? Su Yin, I want to see where you can run to. The 6th ominous ground was surrounded by all kinds of murderous formations. One after another, more than 10 of them were activated and completely covered the 6th ominous ground. This place had turned into a prison with layers upon layers of traps, targeting one shadow standing in the 6th ominous ground. Run! Su Yin glanced at them and waved his hand at them. Make your move, or you won't have the chance to do so. An extremely strange voice rang out, shocking the group of people. They were frightened by Su Yin's words. Even if one was boasting, one shouldn't brag like this. What kind of situation was this? The great army was here just to kill one person. How could they fail? How could Su Yin turn the tables? Number 5. You really know how to cause trouble. An expert from the Ancestral Hall let out an uncontrollable laugh. Suppress him for me and capture him alive. Remember, we are still alive. Suppress. This place was completely chaotic. Murderous auras filled the air and shook everyone's hearts. Even the clouds in the sky exploded. The experts from the Ancestral Hall moved out. All kinds of ancestral arts were unleashed, while various murderous weapons flew across the sky to dodge. I told you to use your full strength. Are you trying to humiliate me with this mediocre skill? Su Yan's eyes suddenly widened. The airflow that rippled out from his entire body rushed to the sky and then fell down. It was like the tide of the universe, covering the sky and covering the earth as it swept in all directions. Buzz! Su Yan's battle blood boiled like the reincarnation of a divine king. His body was full of terrifying aura, causing the boundless earth to rise and fall as if the entire world was rumbling around Su Yin. Bang bang! He raised his fists and attacked with unparalleled bravery. The sun and moon lost their brilliance, dyed red by blood. Large amounts of knights were blasted into a pile of meat paste. Moreover, he followed the broken blockade and swooped down. A pair of giant wings extended from his back. The energy fluctuations were too terrifying. With a flap of the wings, the entire scene seemed to have turned into a purgatory. Large amounts of ancestral hall soldiers were cleaved in two. The entire world was dyed red by blood because Su Yan's speed was just too fast. Su Yan went berserk. With terrifying methods, he killed the enemy with lightning speed. Blood splattered everywhere. Some experts were scared out of their wits. This didn't seem like a human at all. It was like a fierce dragon had rushed in, sacrificing a large amount of lives as soon as it attacked. Su Yan even swung the immortal iron rod in his berserk state. Kill! He roared, his battle blood boiling. He had never killed so happily before. The killing intent emitted from his body shook the universe. The moment he swung the immortal iron rod, the entire sixth ominous land trembled. No! Some experts were terrified. The incoming immortal iron rod made their corporeal body explode. You lunatic! The immortal iron rod landed on the ground, smashing out an energy shockwave that sent everyone flying. Someone coughed out a mouthful of blood. His heart was filled with fear. He broke into a run, never wanting to face this lunatic again. The spectators were stupefied. In the tiger's den, the smell of blood overflowed. Su Yan unleashed a heaven-defying attack, slaughtering a large number of people. Some people in the ancestral hall were scared out of their wits. Kill? No matter the consequences, kill Su Yan. Some experts from the demon region were so frightened that their scalps went numb. How did lunatic Su suddenly become so terrifying? They felt that the current lunatic Su was only at the Great Dao realm. Maybe he was still at the Quasi-Dao realm before. Kill. The sixth ominous land was completely in chaos. The demon region didn't care about Su Yan's life and death. They went all out from the start. All kinds of killing weapons came crushing down from the sky. Set after set of ominous formations were thrown into the battlefield. For a time, the depths of the sixth ominous land were drowned in endless killing intent. The cultivators outside couldn't see anything clearly. Their eyes were stinging, and the divine light emitted was too blazing. No matter how strong Su Yan was, it was difficult for him to withstand this kind of human wave tactic. Let's see how strong the force armor is. Amidst the endless killing intent, Su Yan's hair fluttered in the wind. His precious body shook, and a terrifying aura was released. It was as if a sleeping god was awakening. Even the air currents that were awakened would be crushed by the aura of the gods. How terrifying and perverse was this? The silver force armor was too strong. Su Yan even felt that the power of the silver force armor hadn't risen to the peak. Otherwise, it could really let Su Yan soar into the realm of the gods. But this was enough. It's enough to kill all of you. An ice-cold, bone-piercing killing sound exploded. A loud roar that shook the heavens exploded. The roar caused a large black hole to appear in the area. One after another, the killing weapons were blown apart by Su Yan's roar. Many demon weapons were torn apart and shattered in despair. His aura was too ferocious. Even the sky couldn't cover it. The stars in the sky were about to fall. The ominous aura here surged, and the entire sixth ominous land was about to be overturned. Some Dao weapons even hit Su Yan's body, but they were like pebbles. They couldn't threaten Su Yan's precious body at all. In the depths of the sixth ominous land, various sounds of collision could be heard. The vast territory was torn apart, and corpses were sent flying far away, crashing into mountains. Good brother, we're late. The spectators outside were alarmed. Someone rushed over, and the aura gushed out of his pores. It was as if millions of waterfalls had shot out, and they bombarded an ancient killing formation with holes. The Great Dao Realm expert guarding the killing formation was terrified. This person's aura was absolutely terrifying. The blood essence in his body was so vigorous that it made him tremble. He wasn't the only one. Yuan and the Starry Sky Beast King had charged over as well. They broke through a corner of the killing formation and barged into the sixth ominous land. It seems like we're not late. The three of them were stunned. They saw a huge tremor erupting in the sixth ominous land. Corpses flew out from the depths, and blood gushed out like a waterfall, dyeing the ground red. Boom! Chapter 517. Bam! Bam! Blood-stained corpses flew far away, smashing into the mountains and forests. There were also gigantic demon clan creatures that fell from the sky, smashing large holes in the ground. Then, blood gushed out from their bodies, filling up the large holes and turning them into blood pits. Blood overflowed from them, creating a scene of rivers of blood. The expressions of the Zhang family's paragon physiques were abnormal. They had charged in to help Su Yin. In the end, they saw the enemies screaming miserably as they were sent flying by the boundless light from Su Yan's treasure body. Some of them were lucky enough to survive, but it was very difficult for them to get up in a pool of blood. How can he be so strong? What did he go through in the past few days? Many great Dao realm experts were scared out of their wits. They could feel the vibrating power in Su Yan's body, and he was unstoppable. Kill him. He's alone. Someone roared furiously. No matter how strong Su Yin is, he's alone. He's alone. Kill him. Kill. Ominous land number 6 rumbled. Killing intent burned everywhere, and a large number of soldiers charged over. The world changed color. Divine light surged toward Su Yin, accompanied by all kinds of great killing weapons. Were they going to use the human wave tactic to deal with Su Yin? Roar! Su Yin let out a long roar. His battle body was unsealed, and he was like a true dragon emerging from the abyss. The might he released turned this place into a huge vortex, tearing the sky and splitting the sea, shattering everything. Kill! Su Yin roared. He went berserk, wanting to sacrifice the enemies and kill until the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The onlookers were dumbfounded. The killing formation they had set up exploded. They saw Su Yan's hair flying in anger. He held the immortal iron rod with one arm, and the chaotic spear hung above his head. His aura was too ferocious. The killing formation they had set up in a short period of time couldn't trap him. Some people felt that this was trapping a god. Su Yin was like mowing grass, slaughtering them one after another. This scene made them shudder. It was as if the current Su Yin should be the peerless overlord in the great Dao realm. I can't take it anymore. Some cultivators fled in fear. This was simply not a battlefield where they could survive. Once Su Yin went berserk, even if they could block him, they would still die in this confrontation. There was simply no way to block the aftermath of their battle. Swish! Swish! In the outer region of Dangerland number 6, the heaven and earth trembled. A blood-colored bow was lit and held by Yuan. He drew the bow and shot an arrow. A biting cold aura was imbued into the arrow. Blood-colored arrow radiance shot out one after another like blood-colored evil dragons, piercing through the earth. They were resplendent and dazzling as they shot over, making the fleeing cultivators feel great fear. There were some who had their bodies pierced through, exploding into a bloody mist. Roar! The starry sky king beast let out a low roar, and its large ruby eyes lit up. Although it hadn't stepped into the great Dao realm, it was more than enough to deal with some demonic soldiers. Of course, the most intimidating person was the mysterious man who followed them. He wore beast skin clothes, had a robust physique, his messy hair draped over his shoulders, and his entire body emitted a fierce aura like that of a savage dragon. The moment the Supreme Being body erupted, heaven and earth rumbled, the sun and moon losing their radiance. Everyone felt as if he was the real giant dragon that was awakening. How long? The Supreme Being body released endless light, tearing apart the sea of clouds. When his body continued to recover, the endless Supreme Being fluctuations blasted out in all directions. It was as if millions of great mountains were smashed into the wilderness. There were even creatures who were blasted to death by his aura, blood flowing through the skies. This is a Supreme Being body. Could he be Big Dipper Starfield's Supreme Being body? The spectators trembled. This was a true Supreme Being body. When the life source within his body was completely released, He was like an immeasurable king. The divine radiance he released danced about between heaven and earth, about to cover 10,000 li of rivers and mountains. "Brother, I'm coming. Hold on." The Zhang family supreme being body roared angrily. He was like an exceptional general that had broken free from the gates, brandishing a heavenar halberd. He pounced over, smashing apart a mountain range on the spot. Countless rubble flew into the sky, smashing into the flying beasts in the sky into chaos. Dangerland number 6 was in complete chaos, killing intent concentrated. The supreme being body's might was too terrifying, enough to suppress an area in Deity Mountain Range, proclaiming himself a king. Rumble. All kinds of deafening sounds of collision transmitted from the depths, shattering rivers and mountains, and splitting the universe. Su Yan, hand over your life. Xian's aura finally began to unseal. His great Tao realm domain was already powerful to the extreme, much more powerful than the Zhang family supreme being body. Once he recovered, a vicious aura filled this shattered land. Xian was the strongest among the younger generation of the dark underworld lineage. Even in the vast universe, he had unmatched battle prowess. He was getting closer and closer to the path of becoming a deity. Now that he erupted, even the heavens wouldn't be able to cover up his might. The mountains and valleys rose and fell along with him. The moment he brandished his fist, it contained the aura of an evil dragon, smashing over with a rumble. The one who will hand over your life is you. Su Yan's eyes shone with killing intent. He was like a dragon soaring through the sky. The battle blood in his body was ignited, and terrifying might surged within him. He strode over here, brandishing his fist to meet the attack. The auras of the two great elites began to confront each other. They both possessed the boldness of being unrivaled in their generation. The moment they exchanged blows, that violent aura clashed together, causing a large crack to appear in the heaven and earth. Rumble. The two fists collided, and the heaven and earth released a loud, oppressive sound that shook one's soul. At the moment when the rivers, mountains, and earth trembled, blood seeped out from the corners of some people's mouths. It was very difficult to bear. This kind of collision was too violent, and the penetrative power was astonishing. It seeped into their limbs and bones. Bang, bang. The battle was very intense. In a short period of time, they had exchanged more than 100 blows. Each of their attacks stood at the peak of the domain, and they had unleashed their strongest trump cards. Lunatic Su can actually clash head-on with Xian. Some people felt that this was inconceivable. They were clashing, but the result of more than 100 collisions caused the space in the depths to become a large black hole. Countless energy ripples surged out, sweeping out in all directions. It shook the crowd until they trembled, and their bodies felt like they were going to split apart. The experts who were watching from the outside were stunned. That was Xian, but the current Su Yan was actually fighting head-on with Xian. They had clashed more than 100 times, and he was still not at a disadvantage. Then what kind of domain had Lunatic Su reached? Roar! Xian let out a long roar. He could not take down Su Yan after so long, and he could no longer hold back his face. He poured out all his trump cards, and the evil dragon projection from his body pierced through the starry sky. He pounced forward, wanted to cripple Su Yan, kill him, and kill him in one go. There were also many experts gathered here, especially the great expert Purple Jade King. Su Yan's combat power made their hearts tremble. If they could not kill this kind of person, there would be endless trouble in the future. Just as Xian was about to pounce towards Su Yan in his fury, the dozens of experts who had gathered here joined forces and charged over as well. What kind of sign was this? All the experts who attacked erupted with super powerful great Tao domain power. They wanted to trap Su Yan and cooperate with Xian to kill Su Yan. Such a powerful suppressive force made it difficult for Su Yan to breathe. First of all, Xian was strong enough, and these experts were also powerful enough. Once they joined forces, Su Yan would not be able to withstand it. He had just broken through, and there was still a lot of room for improvement. Of course, the force armor made up for some of Su Yan's shortcomings, but in the face of such a dangerous situation, Su Yan needed a helper to kill his way out. Roar! An even more ferocious roar exploded. The spectators shuddered in fear, as if they saw a godly phoenix flying over from the outer realms. It was wrapped in a heaven-reaching demonic aura as it descended from the sky in a violent manner. Rumble! The experts pounced and destroyed everything. However, they missed. Su Yan disappeared, and when he reappeared, a giant panda carrying Su Yan was roaming in the shattered mountains and rivers, as if it had grown wings. Chi! A powerhouse felt a chill run down his spine. He didn't even have time to react before Tai Baokai appeared behind him. The energy fluctuations emitted by the two brothers left this powerhouse panic-stricken. When he regained his composure once more, his entire body had already exploded. "Your grandpa Baokai is here," Tai Baokai roared, as if he had turned into an immortal phoenix. He was filled with a terrifying aura of the great Tao as he roamed in the void. Suppress. The purple Jade King's expression was ugly. He joined forces again, forming a super powerful seal to lock down this area and trap Su Yan. After all, their speed was too abnormal. If he was allowed to continue his slaughter, the experts here would be killed one by one. However, just as they suppressed this space, the ground exploded in the next moment. It was like the sound of a cavalry from prehistoric times, causing the shattered mountains and rivers to tremble. It was as if an angry golden iron bull was trampling over the mountains and rivers. A prehistoric aura filled the air. The moment it rushed towards an expert, the peerless pressure that spread out from its gigantic body forcibly suppressed the expert. Pong! Su Yan swung his immortal iron staff and smashed wildly, destroying another expert. Bastard! Where did this demon domain expert come from? Some people's expressions were ugly. Tai Baotsai's combat power was strange and ever-changing. At times, he was the overlord of the sky, and at other times, he was the king of the land. In the next moment, his aura changed again, and his power was frightening. Some great Tao domains were destroyed. Tai Baokai seemed to have turned into a big black rabbit. With a stomp of his legs, his power was enough to make people despair. It was as if he had gathered all the divine power in his body to destroy the great Tao domains. Tai Baotsai's appearance threw the battle into chaos. He and Su Yan joined forces, and the shattered mountains and rivers went berserk. Although the cultivators outside could not see clearly what was happening, they sensed that the powerful auras of the overlords were disappearing one after another. What was this? The overlords of the universe were being killed one after another, and the interval was not long. This made the spectators' hair stand. Something big must have happened inside. Suppress. At this time, a powerhouse with a human face and a snake's body appeared. He flung his sleeves, and array discs fell from the sky. Every array disc was filled with the fluctuations of the supreme demon god's precious blood. More than a dozen array discs were combined together, as if they had turned into an array domain that sealed off the bloodline. Demon subduing array formation. Su Yan's expression changed. This was a great killing array nourished by the blood of the demon god. Once constructed, it was specially designed to deal with life forms from the demon domain. This was a great killing weapon specially prepared for Tai Baokai. Tai Baokai entered the array. More than a dozen powerhouses from the demon domain closed in. Under the suppression of the demon subduing array formation, time and space seemed to be strangely split apart. The demon subduing array formation fiercely swallowed, and Tai Baokai found it difficult to resist. It was sucked in. A cold light flashed in Su Yan's eyes. The demon domain was dealing with the Tai Baokai, while Yin Xian and the others were closing in on Su Yan. Su Yan, I will give you a chance. If you can force them back, then Yin Xian, will turn around and leave. I will not interfere in this battle. Yin Xian's voice was icy cold. He felt that he was being insulted and disdained to join forces with the other powerhouses. In fact, if news of so many powerhouses being killed just now spread out, Yin Xian would lose all face. Who do you think you are? Chapter 518. You are truly arrogant enough. Ha ha ha. Yin was truly enraged. He faced the sky and roared with laughter. He was truly angered by Su Yan's words. He, Yin, was the strongest of the dark underworld's younger generation. There was no need to mention Yin combat strength. Several years ago, he had refined the dragonization fruit. His physical strength was at the peak of his generation. His precious blood essence burned, burning the void to pieces. The surrounding people didn't know what to say. Should they give Yin one last chance to attack? Could it be that Su Yin could still dominate with his physical body? Although Yin was inferior to Sun Dome or King Flash in terms of fame and combat strength, Yin was a powerhouse who reigned supreme with his physical body. His combat strength was extremely brutal. Wanting to fight Yin was too difficult. What are you laughing at? Su Yin angrily rebuked. His gaze was focused on the demon-intimidating array. He felt much more relieved. Although this array targeted the demon region's experts, Bao Kai had the banners of demons to protect him. The banners of demons could already barely control some of its power, with this great killing tool protecting him. If the demon region wanted to deal with Bao Kai, these people alone wouldn't be enough. Arrogant thing. Yin's aura was powerful and completely awakened. The impact shook the heavens. This scene caused Purple Jade King and the others' confidence to soar. They wouldn't give up on this excellent opportunity. If they missed this opportunity, then it would be much more difficult to eliminate Su Yin in the future. Cooperate with Yin and suppress Su Yin. The various experts swooped down. The world was filled with the sound of killing. Although the demon region's experts were missing, Yin's combat strength was world-shocking. His strength could shake the world and make ghosts and gods weep. When his strength reached its peak, a bloody light covered the sun, causing the boundless territory to shake. A great battle erupted like this. Divine light gushed out from the sky. At the moment of battle, the entire area was filled with smoke and dust. The sound of their battle were too great. It was as if thunder was rumbling between the heavens and earth. Loud explosions rang out one after another, spreading far and wide, shocking the spectating cultivators. Dangerland number 6 was in complete chaos. Too many experts had died in battle, and the smell of blood was thick. First of all, the Supreme Being physique was powerful enough. He charged out and trapped the experts who were rushing over to help, reducing the pressure on Su Yan. Tai Bao Kai was fighting against the heroes of the demon realm. Of course, the strongest was still Yin. When he recovered to his peak, he could be said to be a great evil that had rushed out from the black abyss. Terrifying air currents filled the entire area, and he launched a shocking collision with Su Yan. Dang dang! Su Yan's immortal iron rod and Yin's silver spear clashed together. The moment the two great ominous weapons clashed, Yin's palm came crashing down while Su Yan's fist met it head-on. This was a peerless collision. The power of both sides was extremely majestic. Kill Su Yan. Experts from all directions also rushed over. There were people from the Tooba family, the Cosmos Business Alliance, and the Ancestral Hall. The moment the terrifying pressure assaulted his body, Su Yan's eyes flashed with a cold glint as he angrily shouted, "I'll kill you all first." He rushed through the clouds and missed with the ancestral phoenix wings on his back. He rose into the air and swooped down to eliminate the other experts. Unfortunately, you won't have the chance. Yin sneered and also rushed forward. His vicious aura accompanied his charge as it engulfed Su Yan. In the sky above and on the ground below, only these two people's energies were surging. It was as if the mountains and seas were overturning and a great dam had burst open. Incomparable energy fluctuations surged out and swept through the desolation in all directions, displaying an unbeatable power. Boom! The scene here was somewhat shocking. It was as if the heaven and earth were about to collide together. Loud explosions echoed in the sky as the void collapsed. Two extremely violent forces launched an intense bombardment, causing the entire Dangerland number 6 to cave in. However, Su Yan suddenly raised his hand. His hand seemed to have become the pulse of the world. It was as if he had become a part of the sixth danger zone. When his hand hit the ground, it was as if it had become a part of the sixth danger zone. The entire Dangerland number 6 was filled with remnant, bloody, murderous intent. In a moment, the entire place seemed to have come back to life and emitted a boundless, murderous intent. Following the gushing of the earth vein energy, an unparalleled aura of the Legion of Gods was born. The killing formation here has been activated. What is he trying to do? Is he not afraid of being refined to death? An expert cried out in fear. Dangerland number 6 was awakening like a demonic abyss. Su Yan's physical body had reached the Tao. His grasp of the terrain had reached a new level, and he seemed to have stepped into the 6th rank. When the earth-overturning seal erupted, Su Yan's palm seemed to have grasped all the earth vein energy in Dangerland number 6. In a flash, a bloody light soared into the sky as this world was struck full of holes. Some experts were screaming as their bodies were lacerated. It came too suddenly. The entire world was immersed in the color of blood. Dangerland number 6 seemed to have been uprooted from the ground as tens of thousands of bloody rays rushed out. It was like a great explosion. Of course, Su Yan was also affected. This was a move that harmed the enemy by 1,000, but also oneself by 800. The earth-overturning seal could control the direction of the earth and the earth vein energy. However, the terrain here was too strong. Su Yan couldn't precisely control it. Even though that was the case, the god-slaying, killing intent that was evolved was still strong enough to pose a threat to powerful beings. You madman! An expert from the Tuoba clan had his arm cut off. He let out a hideous scream as his entire body was drowned in the bloody light. Under the impact of the terrain, Su Yan was shaken to the point of coughing out blood. However, he was still the controller of the terrain, so he was able to evade the majority of the power. Boom! Su Yan immediately sank down. His entire body was covered in a divine brilliance. He activated the primal chaos spear and spewed out all kinds of chaotic, murderous intent towards the wounded experts. Kill! He rushed forward and killed one person with each step. Su Yan went berserk and completely disregarded the consequences. He continued to control the power of the terrain and engulfed the experts surrounding him. This madman, Qi Gao, crawled out from the remnant Great Tao vein with a gloomy face. His injuries were also severe. Even the remnant Great Tao vein that he suppressed was disturbed. Su Yan was completely disregarding the consequences. He was also in danger. Earth-overturning seal. Qi Gao's expression changed as greed flashed in his eyes. This kind of seal was a secret technique of the occult sect. Even the Qi clan didn't collect it. He definitely didn't expect Su Yan to grasp the earth-overturning seal. He had reason to suspect that Su Yan had obtained an important chapter of the terrain chapter. A great battle royale was born just like that. Experts rushed over without any regard for their lives and attacked Su Yan with their killing weapons. Even Qi Gao had come. Although he was unbelievably old, Qi Gao had also charged over. Although he was old, he had grasped the layout of the terrain here. He sealed Su Yan and hoped to suppress him. The battle was fierce. This was completely a battle of life and death. Under the endless pressure, Su Yan's movements were somewhat slow. Fortunately, he had grasped the martial Tao Heavenly Eye and could make up for some of his shortcomings. However, under such desperate attacks, there were still great killing weapons bombarding his body. Su Yan was struck until he coughed up blood and staggered. Kill! The crowd attacked. The power of Great Tao filled the surrounding space. They attacked in unison, using all kinds of killing techniques. They wanted to defeat Su Yan in one go. The onlookers felt their hair stand on end. In Xian and the rest of the people wanted to kill Su Yan. This kind of murderous plot was too fierce. They all felt that Su Yan would be riddled with holes and destroyed in an instant. Just as all of this was about to close in on Su Yan, the world seemed to quiet down and time seemed to stop. Su Yan seemed to be standing in another time and space. His fist was covered with the power of time. He was like a peerless overlord, brandishing his fist here. When this fist was thrown out, It was like a mountain flood overturning, causing the ruined mountains and rivers to lose their color. The territory rumbled and trembled. The terrifying power of time surged over like an ocean of time, drowning the universe and filling the void. It was full of a lawless aura. It was very difficult for any power to change the source of power that Su Yan's fist struck out. The crowd of elites let out trembling voices. This kind of power penetrated all obstacles and was blasted out by Su Yan. How terrifying was the power of his fist. Apart from Yin, who else here could block Su Yan's power? The fist of time that could be said to have come out of time pierced through the bodies of elites one after another, causing the space to collapse greatly. What kind of power is this? Yin Xian's expression changed in shock. This kind of power seemed to be unobstructed, as if it could pierce through time. It was very strange and strange. How could Su Yan control this kind of energy at his cultivation level? This shouldn't be something that he could control. That's right, this was Su Yan's innate mystical power. Of course, this fist wasn't targeted at others. It was just to reap the lives of the enemies along the way. Since Su Yan dared to stay here, he must have a trump card. He felt that his innate mystical power was not inferior to the celestial mystical techniques. Kill! Su Yan let out a wild roar. The power of his fist was terrifying as it blasted towards Yin Xian. Endless power assaulted his body, accompanied by a vast space-time aura, causing Yin Xian to feel as if he was struck by lightning. He was using his power to target Su Yan. How could he have imagined that the power of Su Yan's innate mystical power would be so terrifying? Heavens, this is an indiscriminate fist technique. What kind of secret technique is it? How did Su Yan learn it? I've never seen him use this kind of secret technique before. How could this kind of fist technique appear on Su Yan's body? Someone was terrified. This power was too strange. What was an indiscriminate attack? It was as if it couldn't be blocked by space-time, distance, or even matter. The attack form and uniqueness of this fist technique were somewhat similar to the initial fist. Bam! Yin Xian raised his arm to block, but the light of the innate mystical power was shattered. A fist imprint appeared on his entire arm as blood spilled out. Even his bones were broken. Damn it, what kind of secret technique is this? Yin Xian roared. He was actually injured by Su Yan. When he regained his senses again, Su Yan had already broken free from the innumerable shackles. He swept across the surrounding experts and sent them flying, coughing out large mouthfuls of blood. Su Yan descended from the sky. He was incomparably tyrannical as he raised his foot and stomped on Yin Xian. You're courting death. Yin Xian roared. He leaped up and swung his fist at Su Yan. However, this stomp was too violent. Su Yan's back exploded. A sea of primal chaos appeared, as if it was a real sea of primal chaos. Countless terrifying figures stood in the sea, as if they were living emperors overlooking the world. He stepped on the sky, his black hair scattered behind him. He was peerless in strength as he suppressed downwards. Chapter 519. What kind of secret technique is that? No, it seems to be a kind of battle physique. A terrifying and boundless aura was emitted from the depths of the number 6 ominous land. Many experts who were watching the battle could clearly see that behind Su Yan, a primal chaos ocean had appeared. It was extremely magnificent and majestic, and it contained an unimaginable aura. It was as if numerous indescribable shadows were floating within the chaos. They were like invincible giants that had once slaughtered their way to the top of the world, dominating the river of time, looking down upon the past, present, and future, and experts from the past and the future. This kind of aura was too magnificent and terrifying. It was lurking behind Su Yan's back, making him look even more majestic. His black hair was like a waterfall, his aura was surging, and his body was surrounded by energy. This was Su Yan's most terrifying combat ability. His physique phenomenon was activated, and it seemed to be even more terrifying than the Dharma form of the supreme physique. He was overlooking the vast earth, as if he could dominate the vicissitudes of time. Bam! His foot crushed rivers and mountains. His aura was like a surging flood. It had the power to awe the world. Bastard! Yin roared furiously. His eyes turned red. He had been stepped on by Su Yan. Although he wasn't fatally wounded, he was still trampled under Su Yan's foot. It wasn't his personal honor that was trampled on, but the humiliation of the entire underworld race. Roar! Yin roared furiously. Mountains of corpses and a sea of blood rose behind him. This was the phenomenon of his battle physique. A shadow was floating in it, as if it was a corpse immortal who had once suppressed the entire universe. It was filled with an invincible aura. The underworld race had a long history. There was no doubt that their bloodline was powerful. After all, they were one of the top 10 forces that had stood in the universe for millions of years. Yin bloodline was extremely powerful, but everyone could see that no matter how powerful the battle avatar Yin had manifested was, it was still a little weak in the face of the magnificent chaotic ocean behind Su Yan. It was as if it was about to be suppressed and smashed into pieces. Kill! Su Yan let out a long howl. His moves were wide open, and every strike caused the blurry primal chaos ocean behind him to roar. An ocean of killing intent fell from the sky. Su Yan was like an invincible god of war. Endless killing intent surged, shaking Yin body. His body, which he was so proud of, was about to be penetrated by Su Yan. Do you think I can't stop a puny Su Yan? Yin let out an angry roar as the battle blood in his body began to burn. The phenomenon of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood appeared, as if a corpse immortal had appeared. Yin aura was like a peerless overlord that ruled the universe. Kill! The two experts roared. They rushed over, smashing into each other, all types of great killing methods operating. They were both like unmatched overlords that swept through the world, doing everything they could to fight. The commotion caused by this battle was quite shocking. It gradually formed a destructive storm that swept away the broken mountains and rivers, causing everything within a radius of 10,000 miles to fall into a destructive storm. This frightening scene caused fear to surge out from the hearts of those who saw it. This is a battle between experts. Someone praised. The strong are indeed the strong. The overlords of the younger generation should be like this. That's right. This is a battle that belongs to the top heroes with great abilities and monstrous might. Many people admired both Su Yan and Yin. Both of them had the battle prowess of a generation king and had cultivated an immeasurable foundation. Madman Su has cultivated an invincible battle prowess and an aura of a peerless master. It's hard to believe what Madman Su has experienced in the sixth ominous ground. From the Quasi-Dao realm to this stage, Su Yan's physique had improved by leaps and bounds. Even the phenomenon of his physical body had become clearer as he became stronger. After stepping into this realm, Su Yan was able to unleash all kinds of miraculous combat strength. The purple Jade King's expression was uncertain. The aura erupting from the two made him not dare to rush over. What was this? The purple Jade King felt a great sense of defeat. Right now, he didn't even have the courage to fight with them. He couldn't help but feel fear in his heart. Could it be that the characters at the peak were really so terrifying? In that case, how powerful were the four heavenly supremes that everyone knew of? The battle was intense. This was purely a clash of physical bodies. It was as if iron was being forged, producing loud, muffled sounds. But what was inconceivable was that Su Yan became more and more courageous as the battle went on. He was like a war god. Every strike was heavy and ferocious, attacking forward. Yin gradually fell into a disadvantage. He was being suppressed by Su Yan again. Could it be that Yin's physical body was still inferior to Su Yan's? He had refined a dragonization fruit. Dong dong dong. The sky was filled with the aftermath of the collision, surging waves. Su Yan's fists were powerful beyond compare, his aura swallowing rivers and mountains. Kill! He roared, his hair fluttering in the wind like a waterfall. This fist came crashing down, wrapped in Su Yan's strongest spiritual will. Even the sea of chaos roared. Pung! The sun and moon lost their color. The rivers and mountains trembled. The entire world rumbled. The commotion was too great. It could be said that an invincible aura swept over, unstoppable. This fist smashed through the scene of mountains of corpses and seas of blood, sending Yin flying. His entire arm was hammered by Su Yin and began to deform. Yin let out a low roar. His eyes filled with shock and disbelief. His physical body's phenomenon was inherited from his bloodline. He had even cultivated a trace of the dark underworld bloodline's progenitor's bloodline power. But it actually couldn't suppress Su Yan's bloodline pressure. He had never heard of the Burial Realm's race having such a strange bloodline or such a shocking physical body phenomenon. In fact, the strength of Su Yan's physical body was even more astonishing than his own. This made Yin feel furious and aggrieved. He was a well-known figure among the younger generation. So how could he be suppressed by Su Yin, who had just stepped into the domain of the great Tao realm? Kill! Yin didn't believe in heresy. He rushed up, the divine power in his body surging out in full force, blasting Su Yin. The second round of competition was even more domineering. The forces of heaven and earth interweaved. The sun and moon roared in unison, and endless energy storms surged in all directions. The two great experts could be said to be human-shaped, murderous weapons here, and the supreme treasures they grasped also clashed. The primal chaos-killing seal soared through the sky, heavy as if it was going to crush the rivers and mountains. It descended from the sky, starting to suppress Su Yin. Clang! Su Yin brandished the primal chaos spear. This spear was surrounded by the light of chaos and rapidly enlarged. It was like a giant primal chaos spear that was controlled by Su Yin. He smashed it up, colliding with the primal chaos-killing seal. Boom! Under the collision of the two great supreme treasures, they bombarded each other. The strength of each other surged wildly, causing the heaven and earth to be riddled with holes. Su Yan's strength was unparalleled, having a world-shocking ferocious might that could suppress the world. His long hair hung loosely, and he looked majestic and domineering. Behind him, there was a sea of chaos surging. This punch was violent and domineering to the extreme, bombarding Yin until all the pores on his body were spurting blood. The phenomenon of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood shattered once again. Unbelievable. The spectators felt a chill from head to toe. That was Yin, a pinnacle hero whose physical body was revered. But now, he had encountered Su Yin, and he was actually suppressed. This was too unbelievable. Compared to a few days ago, Su Yin seemed to have become a different person. Some people said that Su Yin had only undergone such a qualitative transformation when he stepped into the domain of the great Tao realm from the quasi-Tao realm. This was very hard to believe. TSK. However, the shattered phenomenon of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood suddenly revealed itself, overflowing with bloody light. As if the gates of hell had opened, a ferocious aura surged like a sea of blood into the sky, containing a heavenly might that could destroy all life. This 100,000 feet of bloody light seemed to have opened an ancient heavenly door. This is a heavenly secret technique. Everyone present paled. They had actually fought to this extent, and even heavenly secret techniques had erupted. My blood will not be shed in vain. Yin let out a wild roar. Su Yin, no matter how strong you are, I will still kill you. If you want to kill me, you'll have to show me your true ability. Su Yin towered between heaven and earth, various phenomena appearing, like a peerless overlord. He pointed at Yin and shouted, "Hurry up and make your move, or you won't have a chance." Su Yan's eyes burned with the flames of war. His first battle on the path to becoming a powerful expert was on Yin. Over the endless years, too many members of the Burial Realm had died at the hands of the dark underworld lineage. This was a blood feud that had to be avenged. You are arrogant to the extreme. Yin eyes had turned red. At the moment when the ruined mountain of corpses and sea of blood were about to explode, a storm was born. It was like a tornado that was furiously rolling up red packets. It made a humming sound, and an extremely tragic aura arose spontaneously. Boom! The vast earth was trembling, as if a cold wind had swept over from prehistoric times, majestically crowding the entire territory. Within the endless storm of red hair, there seemed to be a sleeping shadow. It was as if a great evil hidden in this world was awakening from its slumber. When a bloody palm reached out, it was as grand as the world. It seemed to be able to fill the entire sixth ominous ground and tear everything into pieces. Corpse immortal return, someone exclaimed with a pale face. The heavenly secret technique of the dark underworld lineage, corpse immortal return, was actually cultivated by Ancien. This was known as the most difficult heavenly secret technique to cultivate. The universe was distorted. This bloody palm was too terrifying. Images of mountains of corpses and seas of blood floated in the center of the palm. It simply reached out from the ground, wanting to grasp the entire sea of stars. Unfortunately, your luck is not up to par. Suyin uttered a cold voice. Under the contrast of the bloody palm, his seemingly small body suddenly became majestic. At this moment, Su Yin was like a condensed sea of stars, a condensed ancient star with the strongest life force. A supreme strength was born in his body. His treasure body emitted the aura of the primordial beginning of all existences. At the moment when the origin scripture was channeled, Su Yan's four limbs were connected to the heaven and earth. His body surged with a majestic sea of stars, creating a spectacular scene. Boom! Under the shocked gazes of everyone, Su Yin turned into a resplendent Big Dipper star. For some unknown reason, when the origin scripture was used together with the Big Dipper fist, its power was greatly increased.